Welcome back for all of us that are joining us today. We have another great live where we're talking about Black Hair Care Part 2. I was able to get our wonderful speakers from last time back again. I know we had a lot of questions that we didn't get to answer, so now we're going to answer those questions. So, as you all know, I'm Dr. Maya. This is Fly Like Me, PhD. Thanks so much for tuning in. Again, we're going to have Helese as our facilitator, and the rest of us will be engaging in the dialogue. So with that, I'm going to turn it off to Jase to introduce herself, and then we'll all introduce ourselves and we can start the conversation.
Hey guys, thank you for having me back, Dr. Maya. It was a pleasure last time to spend some time with you here. So, hi, I'm Jase, and I'm originally from Gabon, which is like Central Africa, and I'm also French, and I'm living in the UK. On my channel, I talk about reinventing your life after 50, okay, through travel and building a life with more freedom, okay. And I love this type of conversation because, our identity and culture, and how we show up in the world, it's all part of the journey, even if it's talking about our hair. So that's me.
Vonnie, go ahead and introduce yourself and I'll go last so we can kick it.
Hi everyone, my name is Vonnie. My channel is called Hey Ron. I talk about all the things that we are learning and unlearning as Black women while living well and staying moisturized. What does that mean exactly? I talk about a little bit about travel, but Dr. Maya is the travel queen, so I bow down to her. I talk about things I've learned, life lessons, being vulnerable, what it means to be Black and a woman and human and all those things, and just trying to live a life that's like ethically sound under capitalism, but still like not draining your soul, if that makes any sense. So yeah, that is what I talk about on my channel in a nutshell. So thank you everyone for tuning in this Sunday. We appreciate it.
Yay. So I am Helese. My channel's name is at Love Stars World because one of my nicknames is Star, and that's another story for another time, but you can call me Helese, and I'm so honored to be moderating this panel, this lively discussion among Black women about our hair. As you can see, I switched it up because I was like, let's just show the people we got options, and I think that's such an important aspect of our relationship to our hair as Black women. Um, on my channel, I talk about ADHD. I talk about lived experience. I do talk a little bit about travel, more about the introspective and reflective experience of living in Mexico. And I just talk about how to cope with ADHD and things like that. But yeah, so let's get this conversation going. And Dr. Maya, I know that you'll be in the comments seeing like what people are saying and bringing that into the conversation as well. So please, you guys, go ahead and put your comments and questions and insights into the comments, into the chat as we go. So we left off our conversation. We touched on this a little bit, but I want to just kick off the conversation talking about the natural hair movement. How did it manifest, particularly here on YouTube, but also in your real lives? Like, what was that like for in the States and abroad? So I feel like we could start with Vonnie or Dr. Maya, and then when we expand into what it was like abroad, Jase, I would love to hear your perspective on how the natural hair movement affected you in your relationship to your hair.
All right. Oh, Money, Dr. Maya. Okay, I was waiting for Dr. Meyer, but I'll
No, it
go.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
So I went natural in college, which was around the late 2000s. And that's when Folkey or Fotkey, if anybody remembers that, like the photo sharing website, was out. And someone said, tune in to Haley's. And I remember the natural hair movement becoming like a big thing. But I will caveat and say that I also realized that there was a lot of like texturism involved in the natural hair community in the United States. Of course, I didn't have the words to say texturism, but a lot of people were focused on like loosening their curls, having definition, right? Anything to do to like loosen their curls. I have like natural, 4C hair. Anything to not make your hair look nappy, right? Or kinky or, whatever pejorative words that people wanted to use. I do remember in college wearing my hair natural for the first time and someone telling me that I did not have the hair texture to wear my hair out, which was interesting to say the least.
Very
Um,
bold of them to do that.
but you know what? It was bold of them, but I feel like that person's mentality was very much a mentality people had back then and still have now, if we're going to be honest, right? Like I have friends that wear their hair out, just like wear it out, and no one says anything to them because their hair is like a little bit less, a little bit more curlier, looser than like my hair texture, right? If I were to wear my hair texture out as it is, which I do from time to time, people are like, "Oh, what do you do with your hair? Something wrong with your hair?" Da, da, da. So I am. This is not me making excuses for that person, but I know that person's attitude does reflect what a lot of people think. Honestly, like even among Black people with respectability politics and having to look a certain way, right?
Mm,
So yeah, I will say the natural movement here definitely blossomed um, from what I saw when I was in college, but you know, there were still some problematic things within
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Wow. Dr. Maya, do you have anything to add?
Yes, I do have things to add. Just wanted to say hi to some of people in the chat. Vonnie has already
Mhm.
done that, saying hello to Elise, who is also in the process of retwisting the hair as we have this
Ooh,
conversation, which I'm like is great. You know, you can watch something and do your hair. And then wanted to say hello to my mom. She's out in the audience too. Hi, mom. Thanks for the support always, and wanted to say hi to Dr. Cheryl, who also shows up all the time, faithful to these lives. And then we had a question in here, Helese, whenever you feel like we should answer this question, which is from Prophet Mother. Thank you, Prophet Mother, for being here too. How old are you, ladies, or what year was it when you transitioned? And a comment of the natural hair community has definitely evolved over the years. Okay, I will go now. So yeah, I actually transitioned
yeah.
Prophet Mother when when I graduated college. Yeah, so I transitioned in 2012. And the first time like I wore my natural hair was to graduation, which was a big mistake because it's like we had to put the hat on the head, and that graduation cap is not made for natural hair, so I had to learn that day, and the struggle was so real that I had to wear the graduation cap the entire day because I did not know how to style the hair after that. So I just never took it off. And I'm just like, I'm a graduate. That's why I have the cap on the whole day. But yeah, natural hair movement, to like piggyback off of what Vonnie was talking about. I noticed that it was just for looser hair textures. Like in the beginning, I'm like, oh, natural hair, let's get into it. This is going to be fantastic. Try all of these styles, bought way too many products. And it was just like the hair never was giving what they said it was going to give. I'm like, it never looks like these YouTubers. What am I doing wrong? And then I started noticing that there were not people that had the same hair texture as mine, same as Vonnie 4C. And so it was never going to look like what they were doing. So later on in life now, just have about 3 products, the shampoo, the conditioner, and a moisturizer, and we're done. Where doing natural hair, every time somebody told me to buy something, I would have 50 products, wouldn't even use all of them. Hair was still not giving. So I don't think that the natural hair movement was necessarily for all hair textures. I think it was for socially acceptable loose curl hair textures, not for all of us.
Oh, also to answer Prophet Mother's question, so I started transitioning around 2007, 2008. I'm in my late 30s. I'm turning 40 next year, so very late 30s. About to be part of the 40 Club soon, so hopefully that provides some context.
Yep, yep. I'm like, wait. Can't count. Don't know my left from my right. Okay, Jace.
Hey, for me, it's very different. Not only because at that time I was in France, and also with an African background, also a mini immigrant, right? although I saw it, but from far, I didn't feel that I had even the right to enter into any movement about hair. I just knew that I need to conform and assimilate if I wanted to have a job. And if I wanted to, it was not a question for me. It came a lot later. And remember that also, I'm a lot older. I'm 52. So at that time, for me, it was like, yeah, I didn't have a choice then. But for what I understood from far, what I observed is that the natural movement in the US was like reclaiming identity and saying that our hair natural state is as beautiful and good to go to walk with. We don't have to hide it. But I didn't dare doing it if I needed a job. But what I can say is that it helped a lot of us being confident, you know about wearing our hair, about wear. But that I would never ever wore this in France at that time, never, because I knew that I wouldn't find a job. That was not acceptable. Acceptable was wearing weaves or like braids, but the long braids that looks a bit like, knee, that was okay. So I know also I was seeing you guys, or the rest of the world doing it. I didn't think that I had the right to even, try anything. But yeah, but it's good, because I think it helped a lot of us start questioning why we had to hide our natural hair. And for me, it came a lot later. And for me, that's even a statement, having things in my hair today and wearing locks. But I only did that in 2015. And I always say, my mother-in-law saw me coming once. I had like folks locks, faux locks. And then she's like, what is that? It doesn't look like a proper married woman. You're supposed to have weaves and like fake hair, like, and it doesn't look clean. It looks like somebody who's smoking or whatever. And I thank her to this day because when she gave me that statement, I never ever removed the faux locks. Then I transitioned to a real one. So she actually, yeah, that's really
She
nice.
inspired you.
She inspired me. Yeah, honestly, I thank her because I always love the locks look. But as a woman, so when you live in the West, I knew it was not acceptable for me to wear my natural hair or locks. So I never dared. Now I can. So yeah.
Yes. Okay. There's so much there. First, I want to acknowledge the different layers of human lived experience. And I think it was beautifully represented by what you said, Jace, as you're like, I'm a Black woman, I'm African, and I'm French, and I'm an immigrant. How do all these layers come together to determine how I felt I had a voice in this movement or not? I think it's a shame that you feel like you didn't have a voice, um, and that you kind of felt left out of the conversation. And I think that some, I feel like we should do a better job of that, of being more inclusive. Now, a lot of the natural hair channels that I watch, they're definitely with women with 4C hair. Yes, I'm wearing a wig today. Number one, it's not cold, but I feel warm and cozy with my head covered because I done got so like caring for long, like Vonnie, I would consider like your hair is pretty long. Caring for hair of that length with our texture because of how delicate our hair is it takes a learning curve, and it takes knowledge, and it takes the having too much of products down to the refining of what really works for us. I'm very impressed with your 3 product routine, Dr. Maya. That is a feat. And please, we're gonna share those later. We're gonna get into like the products and stuff later and the hair care later, but I really I find it interesting to think about how we all felt positioned in terms of this natural health movement and how we felt included or how we felt left out. I have to say, for me, my experience was a little different because I specifically typed in 4C hair. Like, so yes, I did see the success of the channels, like, because for me, the natural hair movement was embodied and at its peak online for me. So maybe it's because I'm just chronically online and chronically on YouTube, but that is how it really manifested for me in a way that was very tangible. Because to kind of throw back to when I was growing up, like I am 41, I transitioned which is so crazy how we have a time in our life that we transition, which means that we were like out the gate, relaxer, out the gate, straight. It's crazy that we all have this. But at 18, I was in college. I was really inspired by my sister who's in the chat. Let me read her comment. She said, I would love to explore the generational shifts, especially those who grew up in the 80s, me, or 90s. I grew up in the 80s and 90s where relaxers were the norm. So that's what we're talking about right now versus the 70s where afros were common and exalted. So we can talk about the political natural hair movement of the 60s and 70s as well. But I went to college around 2002, 2003. I was 18. And after the first semester, I think I went home to visit. And then I had our hairstylist at the time, Nay. What up, Nay? I don't know where Nay is in the world now, but she cut off all my relaxed hair. And I had like a nice afro. It was like the size of yours right now, Dr. Maya. So I had like pretty good amount of hair. It was like very thick. It was like, I feel like it was almost hard, but it felt substantial, like it felt strong. You know what I mean? Like it felt good. It was like nice and full. I was like, ooh, okay. So I was rocking my little afro, doing all the little styles that we learned. And when I looked for hair content or when it was shown to me, I specifically searched our hair, like my hair type. So gratefully, I'll say a lot of the people who I feel like were progenitors of this movement are women with hair types like mine. Even though I couldn't keep up with everything that they were doing to their hair, but I still was able to learn. But it was a huge, long learning curve. Eventually, like I've cut my hair off so many times in my life. Check the thumbnail. That's how I look today. And that is literally, it's like insurance. I don't know, like cutting my hair is like a mental safety net, just saving myself time, effort, and energy, especially knowing that I'm going to be, living in Mexico or working a lot or just wanting to prioritize leisure. Having long natural hair didn't really, and wanting to save money. That's the thing. It's like, if I have time, I'm time rich. I got all the time in the world to do my hair. But if I don't have a lot of time and I still need to care for my hair properly, I need someone to braid it. I need someone to braid it down for me. Like I need someone to help with the care and the maintenance of it as it gets longer and longer and longer. And so I was like, I just got to cut it off. I just got to cut it off again. And here I am today. But yeah, what do you guys think about the difference between the natural hair movement, like from what you witnessed or from what you've seen? Because a lot of us were not born at that time, the 60s and 70s, but we've seen pictures, we've seen documentaries, we've read books, and our parents probably had stories and or afros. So what do y'all think about the difference between the resurgence of doing your natural hair and cutting out relaxers and transitioning to natural in the 90s versus that time?
I can go first. So I wasn't born in the 70s, so whoever was, please correct me on this. From what I've seen, from what I researched, someone mentioned in the comments about like Black hair being political in the 60s and 70s. I agree with that. Black hair is always political, right? Even now, 2026. It does feel like, from what I researched about the 70s, that like Black hair was part of a larger Black pride movement. Like people were really proud to be Black, and that included wearing their hair as it is, as opposed to the natural hair movement now was in response to like how damaging relaxers can be and like the health effects and all those things, right? And just trying to reclaim like a sense of identity that is not really wrapped around Eurocentric ideals if we're going to keep it like 1,000. So I think that for me, that's the difference for me from the 70s versus like the 90s, 2000s, the aughts now.
That makes sense. Because I feel like back in the day, wearing an afro in a wrong place, wrong time could get you in a situation where you might get physically harmed or killed. I don't think it's that way today, but I still think it can result in a slow killing of like job loss, like you mentioned, Jase, or, because there still have to be movements like the Crown Act. There still has to be laws passed to protect our right to be employed and to gainfully work. while wearing the hair that grows out of our head the way it grows out of our head. So I think just, they say racism has been, I mean, it's back to where it was now. I mean, hell, I don't know. I feel like we've definitely gone back. We've definitely gone backwards in terms of the way that racism is expressed. But a lot of the ways that it's also expressed now is more so institutionally and through microaggressions, which is just another form of racism, that is so subtle that it's difficult to prove and track. Therefore, it's difficult to get restitution for those acts being done against you. So yeah, I mean, it even happened to those 4C creators where who we don't know if it's YouTube that's suppressing to them, but we know what's being pushed. You know what I'm saying? And if it's more of a looser curly type or something like that, or somebody who's unambiguously Black with curly hair, maybe their stuff is just getting pushed more than people with 4C hair. But yeah, Dr. Maya and Jase, I'd like to know what you think about that.
For me, it's really honestly, like I said earlier, when I hear you talk, I'm amazed, because I'm a child of the 70s because I was born in 1973. However, this was not a conversation for me at all about hair. Because as an immigrant kid growing up, I didn't have my parents fought to send me to in Europe so I have a better education. I just knew that I needed to assimilate. You didn't have a choice anyway. When you went to school, you needed to. I didn't see a lot of example of women wearing their natural hair. Most women were, relaxing their hair. A lot of women, I shouldn't say most women. And so this was not even a conversation in my mind, right? It's a lot later on. All I knew is that I needed to assimilate. It was like a survival, I don't know, mode
Internalized.
because
Yeah.
I want to be accepted at school. First, I arrived in, because I went back and forth between Africa and Europe. So, when you just arrive, you have that accent, you already like a kid apart, and then you have this hair. I wouldn't even imagine. I would also wear the braids because it looks nice, etc. Right? So I was not even trying to follow any other. And anyway, even in my family, sisters, etc., we were all in that mode, being accepted. We immigrant, we need to find our place, we need to find work. So that was really what was in my mind. This came so much later on, right? That's why I'm amazed that who are much younger, were already, knew already about the fact that there's something that was wrong. But in our mind, it was like, okay, you have been allowed to be here. You came here because your parents pay for you to be here. You need to make sure that you go to school and you make sure that, you are accepted. So the conversation was something else. So it's very difficult for me to answer because I came to that so much later on when internet came and I saw all these young women, having the natural hair, that's only when it opened my mind and, and I started following this young lady, but I was already much, much younger. But that was not even a conversation in my mind. And, Elsie, earlier you said something about, being inclusive about the how the air movement started. It's not that, I didn't feel included in that movement. It's simply that the situation in where I was I didn't feel, as I said earlier, that I could even take part of it because I would like jeopardize the effort that my family did to send me, to have a better life. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to make it too heavy, too deep as a conversation, but that's just the truth. Yeah.
I think that's a valid point, Jace. Like, every generation tries to make things better for themselves in some way or form or fashion, right? And I think for Black folks, it was natural here. And to sit here and like wag fingers at you, which I am not at all, because we all have had to assimilate at one point or another. Like, I'm applying for jobs, and some of the jobs require I have to be in office, and I am thinking about it. Like, I probably won't wear my hair like this, right?
You're like, look,
because has like a Black woman, has a darker skinned Black woman. Like, Maya, you understand? Because I'm looking at your hair. That's how That's how I like to wear my hair, how Dr. Maya is wearing her hair. I know that no matter how I present myself, people are going to look at my hair and automatically assume so many things about me. 90% of those things won't be true, right? So I think we do live in a world where unfortunately people that look like us do have to assimilate just to like survive and have a chance to live in this effed up world, you know, and have some semblance of happiness. And I don't think that the the will to assimilate has really dampered. I think it just has evolved and morphed, right? In different ways. Like you're talking about wearing braids. Now a lot of the girlies are wearing lace fronts, right? I have friends who I've never seen their real hair like ever, right? Because that is the new wave of assimilation. So I think, you know, while it may be easy to say, and I don't think any one of us are being like, oh, Jase, like you were so wrong. Like we all have to like figure out ways that we could be true to ourselves and ways that we need to assimilate just so like we can just live on this earth and not be fucking bothered by people all the time, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I think let the conversation get as deep. I think it will have levels, you know, deep, lighthearted. It's all good. And we first of all, I thought you were saying, Vonnie, I thought you were saying that you were assimilating by even considering going into the office.
Low-key, I am in this economy. Yes, if you
Like,
see
y'all want me
me
to come over
in
there?
business
Why?
casual, just know that I am assimilating because I have to pay bills. Do I want to work? Do I want to go into an office? No, I do not like office politics. I have not been to office in 6 years. But the economy is saying, bitch, you need to get a job. And if that means going to the office, you will go. And so if y'all see me with my hair like this, it is what it is. Do I like it? No. Am I also aware of the effed up world we live in? Yes. Am I, in my own way, trying to make the world a
Yeah.
better place? But I also have to live in the systems. I got to live in it a little bit in order to make life better for me and my people, my community, you know, my fellow Black girls. So,
Yeah. Whew. I mean, this is a deviation from, we got to talk about this. Being in the office, being in the office and being at work with your hair as a Black woman, because I feel like the topic and conversation of natural hair is about the whole entire journey, from even the consideration of, let's say you're relaxed all your life and the consideration of going natural. It's just a conversation really about being a Black woman, because whether you have natural hair or you don't, whether you choose to cut it, wear it long, whether you choose to wear weaves or relax it after a long time of being natural, you have to contend with your hair as it grows out of your head, because nothing is permanent. Nothing is permanent. Not the straightening, the wigs, you know, the wet, it's not permanent. So either way, at the end of the day, take off that wig, you know, um, take down those braids. You have to contend with yourself as your hair grows out of your head when you look in the mirror. So you really can't get away from it. And there's really no Black woman who isn't not a part of this conversation. And I would even go as far as to say other ethnicities and races who have anything but like straight, flat, you know, to wavy, loose wavy hair. Because anytime it gets a little bit more kinkier than just a loose wave, it's like, you know. And I've seen that play, you know, just living in Mexico, like I've seen that play out. And I've, you know, there's a movement in Brazil where they're talking about this as well, you know what I'm saying? From 4C hair down to all these, like the Dominican girls and the Latino girls who I used to work with in the salons, like their hair was not done to them until it was straightened. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they all have to deal with this, but I feel like as Black women, of course, we have a unique experience, and we are always having to contend with this. Even the choice of how I have to think I need to wear my hair in the office. That is why remote work should definitely be a right for Black women. Like, it should be law. Like, why? Because the racism that we're subjected to, they've done studies on this. Our health suffers from being around these people. You know what I mean? So, Dr. Maya, do you have anything to say about that? And Jase, do you have anything to say about specifically your hair in the workplace?
There is so much to say. I am going to just show a comment really quick, Helese, from A4 1716. Ironically, I'm listening to this as I put a hot oil treatment in my daughter's hair today. It's also beautiful to know that she will be a part of a generation of girls who do not rely on relaxers. And it's a start. And then we had a
Yeah.
comment. Hello, Farida. So glad you're here, about wearing a hijab and people still wanting to feel it to see what's going on under there. Super
Ooh.
inappropriate. And that is a whole conversation that we could have about hair politics and places telling people that they can't wear, head wraps or head scarves and things in the workplace. That has been a thing. And kind of when you all mentioned like the Crown Act things to combat that, they had to like come up with things that allow people to be able to wear things on their hair at work, especially if it's connected to like religious practice and things. But when you said this, Vonnie, about work, you and I have both been struggling to find work in this political economy that we're not even interested in working in. But that's a whole nother conversation. And I had the same
We
feeling,
need to
Vonnie.
put that on the calendar for next time.
Next time, I had the same feeling, Vonnie. I was like, all right, so we about to go into work. What is an acceptable hairstyle? So I've been trying out different things with them. So one, I had like 2-strand twist. And I felt like that was like pretty calm. Like I had a headband on, hair was pulled to the back. I thought we were okay. So then the second week, I'm like, all right, now I got to show them my fro because that's actually how I prefer to wear my hair. And so here we go. So I came into the office and I'm just walking around. Nobody really said anything, but I was like, we're going to try this out. And then I don't know. I just was like, this is why I really wanted to have this conversation with you all, because as a dark skinned person with 4C hair and a woman, I suffer a lot with texturism and wanting my hair to look a certain way that it doesn't, and wearing natural hair. And so one of the biggest struggles that you all know that I have had is like being mistaken for being a man. And so I was like, you know what? I don't know if the fro makes me look like a dude, so I'm gonna put this band on and push it back and maybe I'll look more feminine. So I'm like, okay, I think this is like the good compromise in terms of like femininity and also acceptable for the workplace. But the fact that I would even have to think of all of those things and like try out different styles and see what's appropriate is sad. And I had told you all, like, I had a very short haircut before when I was in Latin America, and they would always call me senor, sir, man all the time. And that trauma has now gotten me to a place of like, if I have short hair, do I look like a man all the time? Which I think is really unfortunate. But for some reason, when it comes to Blackness, there is an association. I've read a lot of research about this, that Black people that are dark skinned are perceived often to be men, and people that are light skinned are often perceived to be women or perceived to be feminine. So it's just a thing that I am working through. But I just wanted to throw out there that definitely in the job, in office, got to think about what is the acceptable hairstyle and how people respond to that. And then don't let you change it up, right? Like you did on us, Helese, right? Changed it on us. And then it's like a whole conversation like, what happened here? Did you cut your hair? Did
Every
that hair,
time.
oh, is that hair yours? All of this from just changing from one day to the next. You have to take all of that on in the workplace. So yes, I'm with Vonnie. Remote work for Black people. Just let us work from home. We can still
Okay.
work or whatever. But can we be from the comfort of our house, because we don't have time to be dealing with all of them?
Yeah, like I'll wear my hair out in some dookie braids. I'll put on a scarf and nobody would know anything, But now I gotta go into the office. But Maya, you did say something. First of all, I never thought you looked like a man. That's real anti-Black, whoever said that, number one. Because I'm like, you are a woman, and I never saw you as was like, oh, she looked like a man. And I'm being honest. And at least knows I'm an honest person. So
Yeah,
number
no, and I
two,
think you, Dr. Maya, you were saying that happened in DR.
and I feel like
When
in
you were
DR,
in DR.
anti-Black in
Yeah,
DR, from what I heard.
yeah.
And you
We
did
had that
touch on
conversation.
something, Maya, that I think is really important, especially it has like two dark-skinned women, is the performance of femininity. I feel like the darker you are, the more you have to perform femininity. in the workplace and everywhere, right? Like I thought about it, like I wore makeup for you guys, you know, and also YouTube. But like, if even I'm going to the grocery store, at the very least, like I'll comb my eyebrows, right? Like the fact if I leave the house without doing anything, right, people make judgments on my hygiene, my class status, whether I'm a man or not. And I'm very tall. I'm 5'10". Um, right. So like there is a pressure to perform femininity in an exaggerated, exponentially higher way than other women who are black, simply because we are dark skinned. I think Maya, to like dismiss that in the natural hair conversation wouldn't do justice, because it is absolutely true. We cannot wear our hair as some of our lighter toned counterparts because they don't get that judgment.
And I'm just going to continue with Vonnie real quick because this is why I wanted to have the conversation, right? Like just affirming, we out here struggling alone, but we got other sisters that get it. Thank you for that, Vonnie. I think being
Yeah,
tall is the
thank you.
problem. It's the intersection of being tall, of being dark skinned, of having a 4C hair that they're like, man. And you're right, it's
Mhm.
anti-black, right? Because when we think about like celebrities and media, you can tend to see dark skinned, natural hair men all the time, but you don't see that in terms of women. So then when people come into contact with us, they're like, must be a man. From what I see
Right.
in media, it must be a man. Right. But they're not showing dark skinned, 4C tall women. And the fact that in general, women, black women have to fight for womanhood all the time. Right. We do one thing that is against what they expect of us, and they automatically are going to go to that's why you look like a man, right? You just cut your
Yep.
hair, must be a man. You're just not
That's why you're so dark, right? It's always, yep.
you're dark, you're not wearing form-fitting clothing, you look like a man. Like that's their
Mm-hmm.
favorite thing to do for black women, misogynistic and anti-black. So thank you for
Mm-hmm.
that, Bonnie. That is what we are struggling with all of the time.
Big
You're
facts.
definitely not alone. You're definitely not alone. And it's, yeah, I like what you said about that performing femininity. And you said that seems like we do one thing that's out of the norm of expectation of what they said womanhood is. All of a sudden, we disqualify from the soft life. And it's like, no,
Not a
we still
woman.
deserve the
No
soft
man.
life.
People asking you what's your gender orientation, what's your pronouns. It's like, I'm always she, her. Like,
Yeah,
like that hasn't changed. Don't add a pronoun
right.
to add. Like, don't add a gender orientation that I did not ask for. Like, no, don't do that.
Jase, you
And
were going to say something.
yeah, when I heard Dr. Maya sharing, and it hurt me deep because, like, we have many generation between us, right? I had to go through it, and it makes me emotional when I heard you talk. Like even
Mhm.
you, Vaughn, like you still have to stress yourself about, is my hair okay? To go to work, etc. We shouldn't, all right? But there's something that makes me okay today is that I see my daughters, 23 and 27. These girls will go with the flow. My eldest, she has like a lot of hair. And when she wear a fro, it's crazy. It's like she
Mhm.
looks so beautiful. She doesn't care. She would go like that to work. My youngest has dreadlocks, and she goes like that. I think the younger generation, like I don't know how you call them, the gens, something, you know, are different. And I
Gen
think
Z.
Gen Z, thank you. And I think the more like we dare, going and forthing. My daughter told me something because I asked her the question, the 27 years old. She's like, okay, for the interview, when you go to the job interview, you have to assimilate because you need to have a foot in to change something, right?
Mm,
First, you go with your hair like in tie, like Von did earlier. And when you arrive there, like Dr. Maya was saying, then you put your natural hair as you would wear them, because then you make a statement, and I think that will help to change the standard, like people like Lupita Nyong'o. I've seen also
yeah.
Solange Knowles like wearing some fro, and even recently I've seen Viola Davis. It's if more of us dare to like go out there and wear our hair, we have to force that they accept that, my goodness, that's our natural hair. That's growing naturally on our head. It's a shame that we still have to stress so much today. I haven't been working in an office for 25 years. I can't. When I was in France, for 3 years, I got depressed. I couldn't. I couldn't, because I couldn't just be me. It's impossible. Even today, I know I can't, because I know going to an office and trying to have a manageable job with this hair, you're not taken seriously, right? So you
Mm.
still have. That's what I was saying earlier. Is that, in the Western world where we all live, Europe, or for those who live in the Western world, what's considered professional historically is based on the white standards. So unfortunately, we have to adapt to fit to the system if we want to feed our kids, pay bills. And that's so a shame that we still today, that you guys have to go through it. But the younger people, when I see my kids, I applaud them. My eldest, she will go with an African dress, with trainers, with her hair. And she's like, I don't care. I'm who I am. Okay. If they can't accept me, then that job is not for me, you know? And we have to force these people to, I mean, these people, yeah, I'm sound racist. That's not what it is, but like, it's really annoying
Them
for me.
people.
Yeah, that we have to go through it just to exist as we are, as God, or the universe, whatever you believe in, made us. So
Yeah, you're so right. You're so right. I do admire the new generation. They're breaking up a lot of things. I know Vonnie, your sister, is a part of that too. You always talk about how much you admire your younger sisters and things like that, about, how they approach things. And I hope that I hope that Gen Z carries that forward. I hope that Gen Alpha, it's totally eradicated by the time they get into the workforce. Um, but yeah, it is a shame that employment is hard enough with this, just the way they exploit everybody, okay? Every race and everything. But to have to, on top of that, deal with the interactions of people. By the way, I don't mind having the conversation with people who get it. But when I have to have a conversation with someone where I feel like they are not seeing me as human because I changed my hairstyle, where I'm teaching them basic information, that's when it becomes draining, and that's when it becomes vampiric, like, you know. But otherwise, hair is one of my favorite topics to talk about. So it's like, let's always talk about it, But when it's like, or oh wow, and it's like, the vibe be off. The vibe be so off. So
That's so true. That's so true.
y-
Helise,
y-
can I ask you one more thing?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, I know that we talked about like hair abroad, and I don't want the DR to be the only people that are under fire. It is
No, no,
Latin
no, no.
America as a whole, right? It was like
Yeah.
Uruguay, it's like Paraguay, it's like times in Colombia, it's like times in
Okay.
Ecuador. Like as I traveled through countries in the airport, that was mainly when they were like calling me sir all of the time, or telling me I was going to the wrong bathroom because I had like really short hair at the time. And so I just think the whole world is anti-black. That whole world, it just has problems with the way that certain of us look. They're willing to give femininity to some people. We know those types of people, and not willing to give it to other people. So I just wanted to clarify that I have a beef with the whole world on that, and not just particularly one country.
No, I totally understand. Yes, I was referring to, I feel the particular story that you told us, but then again, you did mention it happened in Colombia as well. I was just linking it to the DR because I remember you spent a longer amount of time there. You were teaching there, and the kids had internalized a lot of this stuff, and they were kind of mean about it. It was like, ugh. But yes, worldwide happens, even in the US, even in the States. I wanted to give a shout out to my mom because my mom came. I'm like, so, because she don't even be online like that. She does not be online like that. But yeah, hey mom, if you're still here. Um, there were two other comments that I actually saw. Um, you were actually interfacing with the person about it. COVID. Was it Prophet Mother saying that she didn't even worry about her hair during COVID? Like she's just had this release of like having to worry about her hair during COVID is because people were forced to work remotely. And hopefully they're continued to be allowed to work remotely. I do watch a lot of little economy videos, and they do say it's an employer market right now. So yeah, some of us may have to think about going back in, but let's hope it's we can be like Jase, because she said 25 years I ain't stepped in now. Like I ain't not, I can't do it. And I love that because now your daughters know like I can only work at a place where I can be authentic because they learned that from you. I don't know if you realize that they learned it from you. So that's incredible that you passed that down.
Thank you
Um
so much. I hadn't realized, not at all. You just right now. No, I just saw the brilliant young women, but I didn't actually. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. And by the way, I just
yeah.
want to affirm quickly what Dr. Maya said. Dr. Maya, I've traveled a lot. I'm like you, I traveled so much. And I've been, even with my, forelocks that were long, so many times they called me sir. Okay. And I remember one time I was dating somebody, and and I then removed my extension and all, and he's like, "Oh, you look like your brother without your extension," meaning like I look like a man, right? So, but that's like the standard of beauty. What are they? They show you always in the media that the longer hair mean femininity. If you have short hair, you cannot be feminine. So, which is completely BS. But hey, so
Yeah, and
Um
this is a topic that a lot of people have touched on too, even people that like, okay, I'm not trying to sound inappropriate. I'm gonna be real like Vonnie. Okay, boobs are out here, right? Boobs were leading, and they were like,
she
man,
just did
like
it.
I don't
here
understand.
exactly. They're here, as you say.
Maya, I didn't know you were part of the big titty community too, because so am I.
Like boobs are leading, body is leading, right? Like just it's like only hair, but hair is not the only thing that makes a person a woman. But that was like it. It was like hair done. And I'm like, you didn't see anything else. And that's what I used to get a lot. They were like, they didn't see your boobs. And I'm like, they did. And they did not care. I don't understand how that's the only thing that makes a person feminine or a woman is just long hair done. And it's like also men wear long hair. Are they being called women? Like I don't. Mm.
I wanted to say that my mom, she's still here. She says she's been there with short hair. I didn't even know that. My mom has worn her hair very, very, like extremely short. Like she has a regular appointment with her barber, who does a phenomenal job, by the way. He does amazing. She has worn ever since because she had the little Jerry curl thing back in early 90s. But once she cut that off, she never grew her hair out past the eighth of an inch since. So she has been wearing her hair super short since I was in middle school, um, or high school or whatever. And I always thought she looked amazing. I never would have thought she would have been mistaken for a man because I'm like, y'all are saying boobs, but I'm like facial features as well. Your facial features do not give masculine at all. Like they're very soft, they're very whatever. And I don't know. It's very primitive. It's a primitive way of thinking, I think, and it just means I think these people haven't been exposed enough to different people, just and internalized biases and things like that. Because I'll say, even here in Mexico, I was having a conversation with my friend. I was like, I don't really know about dating here because honestly, I don't get approached. I'm tall as well. I like to say I'm 5'9". Doctor says I'm 5'8", but whatever, I'm 5'9". um, I don't really get approached. I get catcalled and stuff, but that's not a real thing. That's not, I may get told that I'm beautiful by women and men, but I don't feel that the standard of beauty here is Black woman. And I have a friend who's Mexican who is very curvy and has all the curves and has huge, big, really big hair and features. I mean, I don't know. She doesn't look white. She doesn't look white at all. And she says that even some of the men that she's dated have said that they, some of their favorite celebrity women are like archetypes of like a Mexican white-ish woman looks like not, so I'm just like, if that's the way y'all conditioned, I don't know. Like, I don't really see it. I don't really see it. So I feel like conditioning and things like that, it really, oh, that's crazy. I'm sorry that you guys had to go through that. I know it's definitely not a pleasurable experience. I want to talk about something interesting though, because we talked about how we transitioned out of having relaxers at whatever stage we in our lives that we did that. Have y'all seen a resurgence of people going back to relaxers and other types of straightening that I had not even heard of? Because it is going very viral on YouTube right now in terms of that aspect of the natural hair movement, which is what I'm really tuned into. Have y'all seen that? And did y'all know that was happening?
So I try not to be chronically online, Helese, but I feel like low key I kind of am. And I have seen at one point people going back to relaxers. Now some kind of like Brazilian straightening keratin treatment
Keratin
thing.
treatment. Yeah.
There was something, it was like a new Jerry curl. What was it? Gina curl. There you go. I saw it on TikTok not too long ago.
Yeah.
I was like, it's a Jerry curl. I had a Jerry curl when I was a kid. I said, I know a Jerry curl when I see one. I think we're not calling it, people are calling it different names because no one wants to sound, we live in a world where people don't say what they mean and mean what they say. I think a lot of times people are just like, oh, I'm not anti-Black. I just want my hair to be more manageable, right? And it's like, okay. Oh, I want my hair to, I don't want to spend 5 hours on my hair. And it's just like, if you have hair that's my length, it shouldn't take 5 hours. It don't take me 5 hours. And my hair stretch is between my shoulder and my armpit. Um, so I do feel like people are transitioning now to straighter hairstyles. I think because we live in a world where the veneer is very much a political correctness, but that's not how people live their lives, right? People still very much have anti-Black colonialist texturist mentality. You can't say that out loud anymore, right? Especially not online. So we meaning the society at large has developed coded language to express going back to like a more Eurocentric standard, if that makes sense.
That makes sense, Vonnie. That makes sense. We have a comment too from A Ford. Yes, I have seen Japanese straightening treatments and relaxers coming back. I also just wanted to mention really quickly what Vonnie said about manageable. This is the
Mm.
thing I hate the most is when people are like, my hair is not manageable. That's why I have to straighten it. My hair is not manageable. I have to do this. And during the natural hair movement, I was really upset about this. I'm like, what do you mean it's not manageable? It's not manageable because we're working so hard to achieve a style that our hair doesn't naturally do. That's why it's not manageable. I'm with you, Vonnie. It shouldn't take that long to do your hair, right? But when you're trying to change it from its natural texture, that's what makes it difficult. I had a friend that will always straighten her hair for interviews, and she will always tell me like it's just more manageable when it's straight. But I'm like, that's because you're trying to achieve like that flat laid down look. That's why you think it's more manageable. So I would love if we could just like remove manageable from our vocabulary, because I'm with Vonnie. I do think that that is anti-Black.
Mm.
Yeah, and piggybacking on what Maya said, I that is very true. I feel like in the natural hair movement, I was so frustrated for the first 5, 6, 7 years because I'm like, why am I trying this curl cream, curl smoothie, defining curl thing, and my hair just wants to shrink, right? And it took me up to what, like 4 or 5 years ago, the pandemic, where I was just like, that's not what my hair wants to do. That's not what my hair wants to do. I should not force it. And when I stopped forcing my hair, that's when my hair grew the most. That's when my hair grew the longest. That's when my hair was the thickest. When I just left that sucker alone and just let it do what it needed to do. And I feel like when I learned how to do my hair for my hair texture, that's when my hair became manageable. I do not spend more than an hour and a half on my hair, and that includes me showering myself and showering my hair, unless I'm doing something elaborate, right? Which I think all hair textures, if you're doing something elaborate, of course, it's going to take time. But like Maya said, I think manageable is a coded word for like, how can I get my hair to look and be straighter instead of saying manageable, and how can we work with highly textured hair to make sure we have healthy highly textured hair, not straight hair, not textured hair cosplaying has straight hair.
I'd like to add something, an experience that I had this summer. when I went this summer in November. I went to Cameroon, Africa, and so I went to a salon that claimed to be 100% nappy, treating like natural hair, and I was pleasantly surprised because I had an interview with that lady based on my French channel where I asked her if she feels that things have changed in Africa. Because I don't know if you remember last time we had the part one. I told you that when I went to South Africa, I went to Cameroon, I got told that I was punishing my kids for letting them have their natural hair. And these women asked me to soften the hair. They call it souffle in French. It's like soften, but it's actually relaxing the hair, right? And so I refused, but they wouldn't do my kid hair because they're like, why do you punish your kids? It hurts, blah, blah, blah. So I went in that salon and I was like the bitches. I was like, 100% natural hair. But I was pleasantly surprised. It's a young woman that created it. And what she's going into primary schools, to educate about hair. And she said that a lot of parents, mothers will bring the kids, they have relaxed hair and everything. Sorry, relaxed hair. And when the moms see that the kid hair are growing beautifully because they are treated the way they should be treated, that changed something to the mother. And there's a lot of mothers that are now coming, to cut completely the hair to restart natural. It's not the whole population, but there's already like a little movement of women being conscious. And not only she went very deep, explaining that a lot of Black women have, I hope I can remember the name in English. Uh, how do you call it? Miomes? It's like, oh my goodness, in English, what's the word?
Like,
Uh,
I don't know French. So.
it's like a lot of women have something growing inside them, like forgot the name of the, oh my,
Fibroids?
fabric. Thank you. Yes, a lot of women, and she said that a lot of it is because of we use so much chemicals in our hair that we develop this, that it's one of the cause that there've been studies that shows that a lot of women, even pregnant, you know relax their hair. So you will even see that in young women that may never have developed sorry relax their hair. So the she also believed that is education. We've been so much, I don't know, a lot of women still have like that colonized mind, okay, where they believe that they will never show the natural hair because they think that it's not beautiful. They haven't seen it, okay, and they really don't know how to uh, uh, look after the hair. Because when you said, even you, Dr. Maya, you need free products. Me too. We don't need to spend those all that money that Black women spend in their hair. And I don't know the statistic. I'm just throwing something like that. Like we spend so much money that I doubt when I see my white friend when she goes to the hairdresser. It's and the product she uses will be the product she buys in the supermarket because our hair on standard. But we are spending so much money. She really believes that is education. It needs to start also from the mother, right? From because as you said earlier, Alice, it's like you reminded me that maybe my kids saw me doing it, so and they learn from me. So a lot of the mother are responsible of how the kid grow up, because if they don't accept their own hair and they relax, that's what they're teaching to the kids also, like your hair unbeautiful, right? Even if they're not saying it, but that's what at the end it's yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I have listened and I've taken it all in because I'm like, ooh, this is kind of a really juicy part of it. Um, the first one of the things that came to my mind was, but what about the Black woman urge to have your hair slicked down in a pixie? Like, I mean, I feel like I've had every hairstyle. Like, growing up with my childhood best friend's cousin being our hairdresser for a really long time, we were exposed to all types of hairstyles and everything like that. And then the first time I ever cut my hair to a really short cut, like a Toni Braxton, Halle Berry, it was never really, because Halle Berry had like the long kind of bangs at one point. That was the signature at first. And so my hair was shorter than that. Like I had short haircuts that was rocking short hair since like the 8th grade, you know? So for me, the variety and the ability to get my hair to do these different things was innate and natural and a part of the artistic expression of me and my desire to see myself look different often. Like I just really desire to see what I can do. And so then like I noticed that having a relaxer and not taking care of it leads to a lot of breakage, because that demarcation from the hair being, I mean, there's so many reasons why it could cause breakage, but I wasn't doing a really good job of taking care of my hair until when is the first, I don't even know. It definitely didn't happen when I first transitioned, because I had my hair out and it was fine for a while. But once I want to start to around with it, let me dye it. Let me put some micro braids in it, and like maybe not take them out in time, or maybe not moisturize the hair properly during the time of having this protective style in. Like I had to learn all these nuances. Now I know how to do it. And I will say that's what you said about the word maintenance kind of being coded for, anti-Blackness towards the texture of your natural hair. I don't know, man, because for me, as the hair grows, there is a lot more care that needs to be taken, because there's literally just more hair. And the detangling process and the process of making sure that this very delicate hair that has a point of breakage for every single time the hair strand turns in that coil, that beautiful, perfect coil, it creates so many opportunities for the hair to be dry and not moisturized properly, tangled and things. I dealt with a lot of single strand knots when my hair was growing out and things like that. I think the care and the delicacy, plus the added learning curve, did make my hair, as I grew it out after the 2-year point, more difficult to manage on my own. That's what I'm saying. Like having somebody else come and manage it and braid it down and do like the protective styles that I needed would have been great. But people charging like $60-$80 for corns just for some straight backs. And so it was like, for me, I felt like in order for my hair to do all the things that I personally wanted it to do, like I wanted to see how long it would be with a silk press after like not straightening it for 8 months. You know what I'm saying? Now I know that straightening my hair with heat, my natural hair with heat, is just not going to be something that I'm going to keep doing, because I can't get it the way I want it to look without experiencing some kind of curl damage. So I ain't going to be doing that the next time around. Nope. But I feel like I just want to see myself look different. I want to see myself in different hair colors. I want to see myself with different hair shapes. I like big hair. I like slick down hair. The pixie cut was like going viral. I wanted to try the pixie cut. You know what I'm saying? I did put a Tex-Lax in and some color, just because it would allow my hair to achieve that look. And I was like, I did it for like 2 months. I even ordered on, no, did I order on Amazon or did I go to the store and buy it? When I came back to Mexico this last time, from being home for 6 weeks around the holidays, Thanksgiving and everything like that. And my mom knows that I make a religious trip to the beauty supply store to get all the things that I need to make sure that I'm stocked up for when I come back to Mexico. But I got a little Tex-Lax. So the Tex-Lax just, it doesn't straighten the hair, but if you do wear your hair blown out and pressed and things like that, it makes it easier. But you just have to know what you're doing, because these are chemicals. These are dangerous chemicals that, if they're used improperly, can really lead to a lot of damage. So I did the Tex-Lax. I colored my hair. I cut it myself. I got my own clippers. I did the little lines in the side. Like I did a whole thing, and it was fun and it was nice. And then I just didn't feel like looking like that anymore. I just was done. It was like, I did it. I achieved it. And because I do my hair myself a lot of the times now, like it's the process of doing my hair that I love. It's like my artistic expression and my arts and crafts. You know what I'm saying? Even making wigs, like making crochet wigs and things like that. I just like hair as a medium. and I like to experiment. So I don't know. I feel like I don't think that every Black woman who chooses to straighten her hair now is anti-Black, or I don't think it's always an expression of that. I think if you're anything like me, it's just the ADHD. Like, you just need something new. It has to happen. You know what I'm saying? It just has to happen. So I don't know. But yes, I do think that can be true for a lot of people who never really were about it in the first place. You know what I'm saying? They were never about the natural life in the first place. So now that relaxers are going viral again, they now feel permission to go ahead and say, you know, but I can definitely see from some people, they fell in love with their natural hair. They fell in love with learning how to take care of it and teaching other Black women how to do the same, and exploring all the ways that we contend with our relationship with our hair. But then they got tired. There's a lot of YouTubers that talked about their experience of it. They're just like, I'm just not that much into it anymore. Like, I just want to straighten it and see how that goes. Like, I just want to experiment. And I feel like for some of us, that's just kind of what it is, like, an experimentation and all of that. Do I think there's something to be said for never being seen with your hair out and never wearing your hair out? Yes. Because I do think the hair needs to breathe, the scalp needs to breathe. And I do think that, I can't speak for everybody, but for me, yes, I felt like I needed to reach a point where I thought I was beautiful looking in the mirror with nothing else. But I don't know if that's necessary for everybody, because I don't want to police somebody else's relationship to their hair and their self-love, you know, for themselves based on how they choose to wear their hair, because they may have different responsibilities that trump that, you know. I personally don't like, I feel like authenticity to myself is definitely like one of my highest values. So I have to be true to that. But maybe some people don't mind. It's messed up that we have to anyway, though. And we don't know what kind of world we would have if we didn't have to have these conversations, right? Probably everybody would be. But I don't know. I feel like Black women are so creative. Like, whether we had to or not, we would have started doing something with our hair different. Like, we would have started dyeing it. And we're not the only ones who do this. Like, having worked in salons that mainly did not serve Black women as clients, it was other ethnicities and races. I like to say, they spent thousands of dollars in their hair in one sitting. They subject their hair to all kind of chemical treatments to change the way it looked as well. Heat, you know what I'm saying? Damage, whatever the case may be. They want to look different. And I'm sorry to say, they never could do what we do when we step up out of that chair versus when they did it versus when we did it. It was never given the same thing, because their hair can't hold a curl. Let me stop. But anyway, so that's my take on it. I think that the resurgence back to relaxers and different types of straightening treatments can be due to a variety of factors and is not always attributed to self-hate on each individual level. So yeah, okay. So can we get into the hair care now? Oh, anyone want to add anything to
Yeah,
that?
just quickly to rectify something that I said earlier. It's like, I don't feel that women that relax their hair or change their hair, wear weave or wigs or whatever, they necessarily have a colonized mind or whatever. I think it depends on the person. I think the real question is what you said. Is like, if a woman doesn't feel free to wear a natural hair, like, you know, like she will never show herself outside with a natural hair, there's a problem there, right? I think it's amazing that we can change our hair. I mean, my eldest, like, she wear like the rainbow in her hair. She wear all sorts of different things on her hair, you know. And it's beautiful that we have that flexibility. It's like you say, creativity and change, you know, different style. It's beautiful, but we just have to question ourselves if you can never let your hair breathe ever. That's then, like, there's a big problem there. So, yeah.
Jase, I agree. I know A4 said something about people experiencing postpartum hair loss. So what I'm about to say does not include people who like cancer, alopecia, any of those things, right? Like those very specific medical conditions, growing older, all of those things, right? Like Jay said, I really think it comes down to your intent. Like Black women are creative. I remember seeing those like hair magazines when I was a kid and people doing all kinds of creative hairstyles that were really beautiful, right? And I do not think that people relax their hair, whatever, anti-Black. When I was a kid, my parents put Jerry curls. I have finger waves. I've dyed my hair. I've big chopped my hair twice. Like I am not. Uh, I'm not gonna sit here and say I've never changed my hair. But I think, like Jay said, we really have to and we really have to be honest with ourselves about like our intent and really be honest. Like anti-Blackness is a smog that we all breathe in everywhere, right? Some of us got air purifiers and some of us don't. We're just straight up breathing the smog as if we're in LA traffic, right? And so I do think that wearing our hair differently is and can be a creative expression. And yes, like you mentioned, Helese, like even if the white girls are dyeing, cutting, white people, they put sewings in their hair too. They do the glue-ins, they do all the tape-ins, they do all of that, right? It's not going to top us, right?
Never.
We realize that like we do live in a very anti-Black society, and unless you are actively working on not breathing that smog, unless you got like HEPA grade air purifiers in your house, some of that stuff has really seeped into your mind. And I think some of us may say certain things to try like justify or excuse it. I'm not saying everybody, like I said, there's tons of nuance, right, within this conversation. But what I've seen personally, among my friends who are Black women, is that a lot of times we use coded language to talk about our hair that isn't kind or gentle to our hair. And sometimes we talk about using wigs and lace fronts, all those things has like ways of not really showing our hair, because I've seen my girlies do the lace fronts and I'm like, this is just as much time as doing my hair, if not even more, right? To actually have it look good and not have it look crazy. You know what I mean? And so I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh my God, like no one should ever do their hair differently ever again. But I do think that it doesn't hurt to examine ourselves in some of the language. I think coming to the truth about things is really difficult and uncomfortable, and human beings, we don't like comfort. I mean, we don't like discomfort, right? It takes a hurdle, right? You have to get over yourself in order to be in order to experience discomfort about a lot of things, especially when it comes to Black beauty, politics, and dating and all that other good stuff. So yeah, I'm all for creativity, but I want us to be honest about some of those roots of that creativity. Because like I said, this is not talking about folks who have to wear wigs or feel like they have to wear wigs because of like cancer, alopecia, any one of those things, growing older. I have thick hair now. I may not have thick hair in 20 years, right? Will I slap on the wig? Absolutely, because I'm going to miss my thick hair, right? Like valid points. But I think it doesn't hurt to examine some of the language that we use and how we describe things.
And Helese, I know that you were gonna transition us. I'll just say something really quickly too. I just wanted to tell you all that I think that when it comes to other Black people, they might not be the ones that are always perceiving us as a man. I think a lot of times it was people of other racial groups that, are not a part of our community. So probably are just not used to seeing people that look different types of ways as we would in our own community. And one thing that made me really happy, and Jase, I don't know if this is your experience or not, is when I was in Tanzania and Uganda, I know that there are some African countries where they actually cut the girls' hair short while they're young. I felt like so affirmed to see girls and women with short hair, specifically when I was in African countries. And I was like, why can't it be like that in the US? Like, it's just wild to see us with short hair, or you're a total man if you got short hair. But in African countries, this is like can be a part of the tradition to even do things like that. And then the last thing, I just to spice it up, I would be interested for those of you that are out there in our audience, why don't you drop a comment in the chat about how you're wearing your hair? I mean, we have a conversation about hair, it'd probably be interesting. Like we talked about how Black people wear different types of styles. So it would be interesting to talk about that. And then what Vonnie talked about hair loss for those that have had hair loss. If you want to tell us about your experiences around that, we'll love to hear it so we can get some things going in the chat. And I'll hand it back over to Helese.
That's going to be great to see. So let's get into the hair care aspect of it. Dr. Maya, you said you got yours down to a three product routine. I've definitely downsized over the years, but again, my need to experiment. I got to do it. If a brand I trust comes out with a new product that's going to help me achieve the thing I want to do with my hair, then yeah, I even considered going and getting the cosmetic chemist certificate because that's how interested I am in hair care products and what they can achieve, not only on my hair, but on the hair pieces that I wear and everything like that, because I just think it's so freaking fun. But there has come a time when I feel like I've gone overboard because it's just like there's no reason I need to spend 12% of my income, what I'm saying, on hair care products in a quarter. No, 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 no. We don't need to do that. But it is kind of fun for me to like experiment. So everybody has a different kind of hair needs because we all live in different climates too, and we wear our hair in different ways. Jase, you have these beautiful, beautiful locks, which I did try, by the way. You need patience for them things. You need patience. I did not have the patience. Also, I feel like the two times that I attempted them, they were like the crochet kind to like crochet your hair into instant locks. And I feel like the first time I did it myself, I definitely didn't do it right. That was my first time trying it. The second time I had someone else do it, he definitely didn't do it right because you were supposed to like twist it at the root after, and he didn't finish it. So I feel like they just kept unraveling, and I was very, 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 very frustrated. And so I ended up just going back to an afro at that point. Anyway, so as the comments come in, what is y'all like current hair care routine and some of the products that y'all use? How do y'all wear your hair most of the time? So on and so forth.
I've always been I'm like Dr. Maya, always been very basic, simple. And that's why I'm wearing these also. But even before, it's too much work, as you say, for me to like do the hair. When I say I'm just tired watching women doing things online, is a makeup. I'm just very simple. It's like water and any natural oil. Because when you travel a lot, you may not find your product everywhere. And I realized that, and I have very like a fine hair. My hair are very soft, so I couldn't even relax. Like I'd be bored completely, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I do very simple routine. It's like wash with any shampoo, bit of like natural oil, and that's it. And then I will
Mm-hmm.
spray my hair daily. I have this. It's like just mineral water and whatever oil I have around me that is natural. That's it, and it works. I know it's not for everybody, but for me, it works very well. So I never like try to get a product, travel with a specific product because I'm going abroad because I travel all the time. I know that there's any natural oil, coconut oil, whatever oil will work to nourish my hair. So yeah.
And can I just say, I feel like with locks, it's very true. You have to be light-handed because locks are prone to buildup. And
Yes.
because the hair is locked together, you're not going to be able to get that buildup out if you use something much heavier than what you're saying. So I've heard a lot of people, when I was doing that, I like to use rose water.
Yeah.
Um, and they say like some plant-based gels, but they're like, you have to be so careful with conditioners, waxes, gels, creams are a no-no. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and yeah, your locks look very fluffy and beautiful. And let me ask you this: do you put anything on your scalp?
No, I'm really bad. So
No, no, no.
when I went to Cameroon, because I went to Tanzania and in Cameroon, and in both because I started my locks myself. no way that I was going to pay £1,000 to have somebody didn't do my hair in here in England. No. So I did it
Yeah.
myself. So the pattern's really good, but it's okay. So I arrived in Tanzania and the guy has to retwist them, arrange them a little bit. He told me that's okay. And oh, what was the question? I'm sorry.
I was asking you, do you put anything on your scalp?
No, I don't. I don't do anything. But when I went to Cameroon to that lady that, was doing a complete natural hair routine, she told me that I needed to oil my scalp. But to be honest with you, I don't do it at all. It's only like I've just put some water and I don't, because I feel like there's some oil in it. And when I spray it, it will go on my scalp anyway. I really need something basic. But when I travel, every time I go to a place where having your hair is not like a whole salary, I go there and I have a full treatment, right? And I did it in Cameroon. It was amazing. I spent at least 1.5 hours being pampered. So I'm looking forward to the next time I travel. I can't do my hair in the UK at all. Yeah, too much money.
See, you feel my pain, like the way that these people be charging. I
Oh,
be like, can I
I
do it
know.
myself? Let's try.
Yeah,
Forcing
exactly.
hair locks. How do we do this?
Yeah,
Because I'm like, I
yeah.
can't.
And you've had to be
I,
patient with the dogs because, oh my goodness,
yeah,
they're unbearable all the time, all the time. But it takes time. With time, it's forming, etc. You have to be extremely patient. It's been
I
7 months,
know.
7 months, but yeah.
Yeah, I think I haven't worked up to that level of patience yet because it would have been fine if they would have stayed locked once I instant locked them. But the fact that they kept unraveling, I was like, I might as well go back to a fro. Like half of this lock is fro. So clearly my hair does not want to be locked right now because it's just like, nope, we're gonna rebel. Like that's what I feel like my hair does. So like I try to listen to her. What did she want? But I think it's good that you don't put anything on your scalp. I think a lot of people overdo oiling the scalp and it leads to a lot of buildup and later on scalp issues. I've seen a licensed cosmetologist talk about this extensively and a lot of other people talk about the science of this. I noticed that I don't have any issues whatsoever with my scalp once I stop focusing on oiling my scalp. Like you said, whatever I put on my hair, a little bit's going to get on the scalp, and then I wash my hair often too. So it's like scalp stays fine. Scalp stays totally fine and okay. I wonder why she told you that you needed to oil your scalp, because if you're not noticing any symptoms, then what's the point? Why would she tell you that?
She was telling me that my hair were dry, but not my scalp. My scalp was healthy because I had a growth. I had so much hair that grew in between Tanzania and seeing her. But I think it was just like people will have a routine maybe of how to do hair. But as you said, we all different. We all have different hair and different, we're just different. So my hair, I never, even before my locks, I'm just not somebody who does a lot with anything. I like
Mhm.
simplicity. So yeah, and it works. My hair on breaking, they're growing. I actually need to retwist them, but I'm waiting to travel to do it. So it's working.
Okay,
And
what's to go next?
we have just really quickly, Helise, we have a question in the chat from Lynn. The question is it necessary to wash your hair every week? I find at times if I go 2 or 3 weeks without washing, it tends to grow more. So if you all wanted to answer that question, that's there, or Helise, you can continue on taking us.
No, let's answer that. I have my thoughts. What do y'all think?
Elise, what was your first question about the hair care products or the routine?
Yeah, I was just asking you about your routine, but to answer that person's question real quick, what do y'all think about? Do you think weekly washing is necessary, and do you think oiling the scalp is, necessary? And also, what do you think about, people who say like the last commenter, my hair grows more when I wait a couple weeks to wash it?
Okay, I'm gonna try to answer all of this because they're all hair related. So my
Yeah.
hair routine is pretty simple. So to answer the question first, I wash my hair every 7 to 14 days, so every week, 2 weeks. I also go to the gym anywhere between 4 to 5 times a week now. So I think I might have to wash weekly. I'm trying to get right for the summer. We live on the patriarchy. I
Listen.
ain't gonna lie. So I'm trying to get back to my pre-pandemic way. That's why I'm saying here. Like, I ain't a hotel guy. Like, I understand what's going on. I understand how fucked up this world is. Also understand I gotta live in it. And finding stuff when you are tall and after past a certain size is really, really hard. So a part of
Yes.
it is like I gotta lose a little extra weight, and a part of it is I'm trying to learn how to sew so that I don't have to support people who don't mix up in my size. Anyway, back to hair. So I wash my hair every 1 to 2 weeks. What I do is if my hair is just like this, I finger detangle, I shampoo, I do everything while I'm like after I shower. And then I put leave-in conditioner in my hair. I put some heat protectant, and then I tension blow dry, which is basically holding my hair like this with a blow dryer. I don't use a comb or anything like that, unless I want a specific look. I want my hair to be like a little bit straighter, and then that's it. I'll put my hair in Bantu knots, or I put in like 4 to 6 braids, just something really simple. If I'm not going out that day, my hair stays the way it is. If I am going out that day, I'll unfluff my hair, kind of like, fluff it out a bit, call it a day. For me, that works. I don't really care to have it particularly defined, twist out or braid out, or have every coil look a certain way. I like wearing my hair kind of like large and everything. I feel like that's what is most flattering for me and my facial features. And so that's what I do when I wear protective styles. I do make sure I spray it leave-in with some oil, like Jay said, just to make sure that my hair is still like moist and healthy when I take my hair out. I really think it really depends on like your individual scalp, right? I think a lot of our differences are individual more so than anything. I know for me, I am a scalp oiler because that's what my scalp likes. I also know that like I'm prone to getting a flaky scalp. So like I can't go more than 2 weeks without washing my hair. Even in protective styles, like I do wash my hair every 2 to 3 weeks, even in braids or cornrows. I can't leave my hair out for months and not wash it. And like, no, first of all, it doesn't feel good. My scalp doesn't feel good. And number two, that's not what's healthy for my hair. So I really think it really depends. Like if you wash your hair every 2 to 3 weeks and your scalp is like growing, like honestly, do what's working, right? Like if it's working for you, no need to change it. Now, if something wasn't working for you, yeah, try experimenting. But I'm not a believer that everything works for everyone. So yeah.
Dr. Maya.
Yes, same as Jace. I wash my hair every 2 to 3 weeks, and my routine is washing it, conditioning it, and then I would normally let it air dry. I learned that using the, blow dryer, even though as a kid, I can just still hear the sound, like, I just, like, remember that. It's, like, so loud, so much, hair is going everywhere. But like picking at the hair, combing it a lot, blow drying, putting a lot of heat on it, even though it's not being straightened, just blow drying it can be damaging to the hair. So I stopped using like a blow dryer. And I remember the first experience when I saw a blow dryer that didn't have a comb attached to it. Like I went to a hotel and I was like, "Where's the part to like comb out the hair?" And they're like, "Oh, they don't need that, for their hair. They just like put the heat on it and it dries." I was like, "Oh, didn't know that." I always thought a blow dryer came with a comb attached to it. So yeah, that would be my experience. Like Jace, I wanted something very basic because similar to a lot of you all, I try everything, and I think that the more kinky your hair is, the more likely you are to try everything because it's like trying to find something to assimilate. So it's like, what style will work for this? So I had the sew in, I had braids, had a perm, obviously wearing my natural hair in a fro, 2-strand twist, Senegalese twist, wig, like everything. And I just ultimately came at this grown age of today to be like, I'm tired and I just want a basic style. So we're going to get these 3 products. We're going to wash every 2 to 3 weeks and we're going to call it a day.
What are the 3 products?
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Helese.
Oh, go ahead.
I
was gonna ask, what are the 3 products?
really healthy and like thick and lush. Every time I see you on your lives, I'm like, damn, how you look good. I
I
just want to
do get that. I do get that thick. Yeah, yeah,
It's very
definitely.
lush and healthy and wonderful. I'm
Thank
sorry,
you.
Helese, go ahead.
I try so much, Vonnie. You have no idea. So it's shampoo, it's conditioner, and it's moisturizer. Similar to Jase, every now and then I do have like a spray that has oil in it. So like if I feel like the fro is a little dry that day, I'll just spray it with water with some oil. So I guess 4 products. But I don't use that one as much. I use the moisturizer more then I use the spray, but I do have that about them 4, and that's all I need. And also, I just want to say that Jace made a really good point too. That when you're traveling, like you don't even know if they're gonna have them products. So if it's
Mhm.
more simple, the better, right? If you just need water, more than likely, but in some places in the world, we got to remember that more than likely there will be water, but not always. So yeah, just having water. And then when I lived in Colombia, whatever the shampoo of the day that they had, I tried those shampoos out until I found a shampoo that worked for me. And having oil, more than likely they'll have that abroad. And so I think that if you are a traveler, which is not something we talked about, but if you are a traveler, having just a simple hair routine that more than likely you can find these products water, maybe shampoo, or oil, and you're good to go. The more complicated it is, the more difficult. When I lived in the DR, my hair used to get super dry from the heat. Like I would come out moisturized 2 hours later, nothing, just and so my uncle shipped me products specifically in the DR because even though it was a nation that is full of people with hair like ours, like they
That's
did
what I'm thinking. I'm like, wait a minute, they ain't had nothing for you. Like,
no, or maybe at least their hair was accustomed to like the heat and my hair wasn't. So I had
Mm.
to have a specific type of moisturizer that was for like heat, heat on the hair and stuff like that. So that is the end of my speech. Thank you all so much. Glad the hair is looking good. And Helese, I think your mom said all of our hair is beautiful. I want to shout out
Thank
that
you, Miss
because
Mama.
it is nice to just be validated and for us to realize like these it's good to see natural hair. We're not going to get to see that in the media a lot. So it's really great for us to be out here on this video and platform. Thank you all for coming and sharing about your natural hair journey because it means a lot to us that don't have the community there when it comes to natural hair.
so true.
Oh,
Thanks, Mom.
thanks, Mom. Can I say
Go ahead, Vaughn. Go ahead, Vaughn.
Sorry, I don't want to monopolize the
Go
conversation.
ahead.
I want to talk about this myth of like white people, whatever, like not having to do much to have nice hair, because I think that's a lie. I went to a PWI, and let me tell you how my PWI was. At the time, it was 80% white, 20% everyone else, and out of that everyone else, only 6% was African American, Black, Caribbean, African, right? So when I say PWI, I mean real palm people. Um, I think there's a myth that we think that like having straight hair or looser wavy hair means that you don't spend as much time on your hair to make it look good. But going to a PWI, the girls who had gray hair did as much as the Black girls, if not even more, right? They're shampooing, conditioning, deep masking, blowing out their hair, putting in the rollers, right? Like when the girls walked around with messy buns, it's because their hair did not look good and it was probably greasy and dirty, right? I think we have this misconception that people who are Caucasian, or like even let's not even say people who are biracial, right? They have people who are coded to have better hair than kinky textures, right? That they have an easier time. They don't, right? Like I think if anything, whether your hair is manageable or not comes down to density and thickness more so than texture. If you have thick hair, no matter who you are and what texture you have, it's going to take you a minute, right? Compared to someone who has maybe finer hair or softer strands, right? And I think we don't realize that, like, for us women to look good, no matter who you are and how you look like in a society, you are going to have to put in work. And I think we look at ourselves and we look at other people like, oh my gosh, she has 3C hair or whatever. Like, it don't take her nothing. No, for every coil to be defined like that, she probably took the gel, mousse, diffused every section of her hair to make it look that way, right? So I think As Black women, I hope that we are a little bit more gentler with ourselves when we talk about our maintenance and our hair care, because baby, I'll tell you, the Beckys and the Katies, they're doing the same things we're doing to make sure that their hair is like, flipping in the wind or whatnot, and laying out perfectly. So just want to put that out there.
I
Yeah.
also wanna go off that, Vonnie, if I could really quickly. Vonnie, you can talk as much as you want. I could tell you're in your bag because I'm like, normally Vonnie be just in the bag chilling, but you're like off mute, off mute, off mute. So I'm loving it. I'm loving that for you, that you are in your moment and having a great time with this conversation. But it's true. Oh my gosh, when I have seen some of these white women like behind closed doors, I was like, whoa, wait, that's your actual hair? Taking out extensions. Hair is gray and they're like constantly dyeing it. People that had curly hair that are straightening it every morning. I said, whoa. So thank you for this, Vonnie, because I always am like, why does it take me so long? Why I got to do this with my hair every single day? Got to figure something out. But like all of us are probably figuring something out because there's only a few of us that actually
Mm-hmm.
have hair that's exactly how they want it. And most of us
Yeah.
are doing something,
Yeah.
including white
Mm-hmm.
people, because some of them got curls too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We
And
all in this shit
it's
together. It may not
it's
feel like
it's not just
it.
And it's not just curls, it's texture and like you said, density and thickness as well. Like working in these salons, I see what these women subject their hair to. And a lot of the things that come to our community, it started there, like tape-ins. Tape-ins were definitely not originating in our community because it would not make sense. Even if most of us have relaxers, like tape-ins really only work on straight hair. I mean, I've seen tape-ins that were textured, but it's not as simple. It doesn't work as well as like an individual braid because of the way that it's supposed to lay flat from the root of the hair down the length of the hair. So it's like like white girls were getting sew-ins. There was a woman, she was a Black woman who worked at one of the salons I worked at. She had invented a technique of like sewing the track directly onto the unbraided hair because their hair didn't have the density that are in the volume that ours does for being like coily and braiding it down, even though sometimes we add hair into the braid down before the sew-in. I've never had a sew-in. I do want one, but I'm just because they cost a paycheck, I never got one. I was like, I can't learn how to do this. I literally only know how to do some very basic crooked part flat twists. I don't know how to do. So I stick with box braids and stuff like that when I try to do my DIY. But anyway, I say that to say like they she would just take wefts of their hair and like sew the track onto the wefts of their hair because they want volume, they want length, they want colors. You know what I'm saying? The little clip-ins and stuff like that. They be wearing the little clip-ins with the little blonde streak or whatever the case may be. They want balayage, you know what I'm saying, which is like painting bleach, and color onto the strands to give highlights. They want, you know, they want to be blonde. They want to be blonde. They want all of that. They do keratin treatments. You know what I'm saying? They do haircut. Like they do the same things that we do. And they spend, they say there's, like you said, Jase, there's statistics on what Black women spend on products and things like that. But I don't know. I've never seen the statistics about what white women spend on their hair and looking good or whatever the case may be. Like they spend it too. They spend it too. They got to be spending more than we do because most of the stuff is for them. Most of the stuff is marketed. If we have to search and seek and find stuff that's actually going to work for us, how are we spending? I don't know. I feel like that's propaganda. Like that just occurred to me. I feel like that's propaganda to make us feel like y'all really just don't love yourselves. No. Do you see the kind of procedures that Asian women are doing to look more white?
I mean, the
You know what I'm
anti-Black is
saying?
not just us; it's everybody.
It's the white so-called white supremacy, and so it's just like it's crazy. So in terms of, I wanted to talk about Lynn's question about washing the hair and the hair growing and all of that, and then get into my routine. I wash. I understand. I feel like, okay, let me get my thoughts together. I feel like what could be happening, because it's something I noticed with my hair as well, when I was using a lot of this on my hair, right? Not really my scalp like that, but on my hair, right? Vaseline. You got to get the real one, because if you just get the Equate Plus or, you know, one of the other little petroleum jellies, it's like oily, but this is the thick stuff. This is that thick stuff. So with that said, there was a time when it was like the longest that my hair had been at that point being natural. And I think I had also colored it. But again, I worked in a salon, so it's professional color, a little safer than the box color, not as drying. So my hair was, I feel like, pretty healthy. I'm pretty sure I had split ends and all of that, but I noticed that it had the density that I liked. It was like nice and juicy. I was using Vaseline to seal my hair. I had no idea what sealing meant at the time, but I was doing that. And so my hair was like, and I wasn't washing it as much as I do now. So at the time I was washing it, I might go like 3 weeks without actually like doing a full wash. Today, especially now when my hair is short, I might wash it every week, sometimes 3 or 4 days, like in the summer, whatever. If I just want to reset those curls and let them just like get juicy again. Also, I feel like it's hydrotherapy. I love the feeling of the water cascading down my body. I feel like, especially if you have a high pressure shower head, it's like a little massage. So I wash my hair a lot more often now because I realize hydrotherapy is like a reset for my whole nervous system. You know what I'm saying? But back in the day, like I feel like my hair, it was, you know, acting like it grew better when dirty. And what I think it was, now that I know a little bit more about the structure of our hair, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that, something I learned yesterday from watching a video on Coily Diaries. She talked about porosity of African hair, is that it's the buildup. It's the buildup of products that protects your strands, which are very prone to being dry, that make the hair less prone to breakage. You know what I'm saying? So if you're getting a nice buildup on your strands and your hair is not dry, then it's actually protecting the hair. And that's why it seems like the hair grows better when dirty, but really your hair is adequately moisturized and coated, and that is what is protecting your hair. Now, based on Coily Diaries studies that she brought up, she had pictures and everything. They kept doing like microscopic pictures of different hair strands of different ethnicities. And what they realized is that porosity is on a spectrum. So Asian hair is like the least porous in general. I'm pretty sure there's a high porosity Asian out there somewhere, but in general, their hair is least porous. And in general, our hair is the most porous. So even though out of the four of us, some of our hair could be more porous or less porous, like in terms of the rest of the population of the world, our hair is going to be more porous, meaning that the cuticle is more lifted. So it's easier for moisture to get in and it's easier for moisture to get out. It makes our hair more prone to dryness. Also, the coily texture of our hair makes it more prone to breakage and dryness, because each time that hair bends, it's like a point of like, where the cuticle is even more open, it's like a point of weakness. You know what I'm saying? It makes the hair be able to get more tangled more easily versus being laying flat, smooth, and the hair just slips and slides against each other, right? So she was saying like African hair is high porosity hair, which means our hair does well with, we need to moisturize it often. We need to moisturize it before it gets dry again. And it's okay to, that's why a lot of Black people are going back to grease. Like a lot of the women are going back to hair grease from back in the day, saying my hair is so good now that I use grease and everything. Cause it's like your hair actually responds well to it if it's like, because it's protecting the cuticle and it's helping it smooth down and not be as prone to breakage. So I feel like if you're having scalp issues and yet where your scalp might benefit from being washed more often, but you feel like your hair grows better when you don't, it could be because you're moisturizing it really well. You're re-moisturizing it in those 3 weeks of time that you're not washing it. And the hair is like, yeah, I can handle I can handle the managing and all that stuff that you're doing to me in between because I'm coated properly. Because another thing she pointed out was that a strand of African hair versus a strand of Asian hair, they have like 10 different cuticle layers. So even if some of their cuticles break off from like heat damage, UV rays, like you said, being out in the sun, Dr. Maya, like your hair would get dry from that. Our hair typically may have 2 cuticle layers maybe 2 to 4, and then the cuticle layers themselves are thinner. So it's just like everything about how our hair is set up for our hair to defy gravity, you know what I'm saying, to really love water, you know what I'm saying, to love being moisturized, to love being coated and things like that, and to be more prone to breakage if we don't know how to properly care for it, versus their hair may be able to stand a lot more damage, a lot more heat, a lot more, blow dryer, because they're saying like Caucasian hair is like somewhere in the middle. So their hair may be able to stand a lot more of that before it experiences the dryness and breakage that ours does, which can lead to the myth that Black hair doesn't grow and Black girls can't grow hair and things like that. And it's, again, if we try to adapt their hair practices to us without knowing what our hair needs, then yeah, we may not experience the length retention that they would. And so, yeah, I feel like we covered a lot of that little statement, but it's just like, yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that. So now I'm somewhere in between. I don't use just 3 products. I do use several, but I don't use them all the time, like you were saying, Dr. Maya. So I do use a shampoo. I tend to use a moisturizing shampoo. Here in Mexico, the water tends to be very, very hard. So thank God where I'm living right now, there is a shower head that's filtered water. But I noticed in not staying here that my hair, I needed to use a descaling, like a clarifying shampoo that wasn't too harsh to get those minerals out of my hair. That, plus, I think at the time I may have even been experiencing some kind of iron deficiency. Like my hair was like, my first year or so here, before I decided to get really serious about like length retention, that like in 2024, I think my hair was like, I was even thinning in the middle. You know what I'm saying? I think that could have been for a number of reasons, but I was doing like wash and goes and things like that and putting like moisturizer and like conditioner and gel, but not moisturizer, just shampoo, conditioner, and like gel. That's not going to be enough for my hair. I need to put some kind of moisturizer, some kind of cream, you know what I'm saying? My hair did really, really well when I was doing the LCO method, liquid cream oil, like coating it with an oil, you know what I'm saying? Especially castor oil. My hair loves castor oil, and things like that. It was it was doing better when I did things like that. Or I don't use Vaseline on my hair right now because I saved this for my skin, because Vaseline is expensive here. I don't know. This was like $5. That's not sustainable. But I did bring stuff from home, brands like TGIN and African Pride and stuff like that. But I can use the shampoos here because they like to use a lot of herbs in their shampoos. So they'll have sulfate-free shampoos that have like different Mexican herbs and things like that to help stimulate hair growth. So I'm like, okay, they'll put like rosemary and things like that in there. So I like to experiment with the shampoos here. So I use a moisturizing shampoo, and every once in a while I still use a clarifying shampoo. Even now, even with my short hair. Another thing about hair care for me is like, I treat my short hair just like I do, I mean, except for styling, of course, but in terms of like shampooing and moisturizing, I treat my short hair just as if it was long. You know what I'm saying? Like I get in there, you know what I'm saying? I make sure that it's adequately moisturized and adequately moisturized, even if I just have, because I noticed my hair will be breaking a lot and I'll see little tiny pieces if I go too long without moisturizing it. So one YouTube, I forgot her name, dang, she brought up this thing called your moisture cycle. Like, how often do you have to moisturize how many days can you go without moisturizing your hair before you have to spray it with the water bottle again with the oils, or go through and put some cream in there? I think mine is like 3 to 4 days or something like that. So I'll probably go through 2 moisture cycles before I wash it again. Sometimes just 1 if I just feel like washing my hair again. It's really, really, really easy now because it's short. But for me, once the length comes in the picture, at the 2-year mark, I got to see how I'm gonna get over that hump this time, because it's like I just have to section it out. My hair is very dense, like yours, Dr. Maya, so I have to section it out, and that patience factor, like hopefully I'll be making more money by that time so I can give somebody a little piece of paycheck so that they can go through and like just braid it back or braid it up or do something like that. And I can like outsource some of that care. But it did become quite stressful for me, as my mom can attest to it. She'll be like, oh, I'm like, yeah, mom, it's a lot. Because I want to do it right. Because I want to do it right, and I want to be gentle, and I want to take my time. I don't want to rip through, what I'm saying, my hair like I used to when I didn't know nothing about how delicate and fine and beautiful our strands were. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's pretty much my hair care routine. I'll use gel to style, and I use mousse to style, but only after a leave-in conditioner. And I like the TGIN rose water. You use that too? Is that the one you use, Dr. Maya?
I use TGIN. Yeah, I use the buttercream as the moisturizer. I use
Hold on. Let me get it.
shampoo. If we about to do this, I can get my products too. And I use
this is the one I
yeah. Yeah, and I use the they have a honey cream moisturizer.
They
Fun fact,
do.
I also worked for TGIN. Yeah, so like I know like
Wait,
how
Okay, so
when?
Maya,
I
when are we
know.
gonna get some free products? Let me actually go
Oh
back, asking for free stuff.
Let me get a job.
I know, and they were really good about giving us free products too. Yeah, for sure in the beginning. But this was in when I was in undergrad. But yes, love TGIN's products. You all should try those.
Wait, what are
Thank
you
God,
using again? Let me.
natural.
I want to
Okay,
take.
I'm gonna pause the video for myself and I'm gonna go and get my products. But I just want to say one more thing before I do that is that I thought it was just so surprising to me how my whole life I had been told that Black girls, we had to stay away from water, right? We had to straighten hair. They were like, do not go by that water. You stay away from that rain. You better not sweat. Vonnie, we couldn't work out 4 times a
I swear.
I know.
right, like stay away. And then when I went natural, it was like water, spray it. And you got the spray bottle with the oil. And I'm like, I'm so confused. Like I had to rewire my brain because I was like, I thought we couldn't do nothing with water. We go natural. We need water all the time.
Yeah.
Over it. Okay, I'm gonna pause my video. I'm gonna go get my products. You all can continue.
Okay, because
I'm
I've
gonna
always
grab some
wondered about
products too.
TGIN. Wait, Helese, what do you have? Because I've always wondered. I'm like, does this work on like
It works. I
hair?
like the green tea super moist leave-in conditioner. This is this is the product that I must have. Yes, this is the product that I must have.
Green tea super.
I never heard of them. I'm just looking online, and we got them in the UK too. So
They are Black owned and created, and they are still Black owned, and that is really, really important. That is probably why it was such a great company.
Okay, because I went back to Kinky Curly. I don't know if y'all remember Kinky Curly, the leave-in conditioner. But that one is that one's a little expensive. It's a little expensive.
Kinky Curly is a little bit more expensive, but since you're in the States, if you go to Marshall's and TJ Maxx and those kind of places, that's where I've seen those on discount, even this brand on discount.
Really?
Yes, significant discount if you go to those stores.
Oh my God.
They may not have all the
Okay.
products you want because it may just be the overflow, but yeah, try
Okay.
those.
Because I have my receipt. I'm gonna have to look for my receipt from Sally because I just bought it. Like I just re-upped, and I'm like, I haven't used it yet. I could return it and try this TGIN, but let me see if I have the receipt.
Honestly, girl, I'm like, I wish I lived in DC because I'd be like, oh, girl, we going on a hair trip. Okay, so let's do some price comparisons. Let's see where we can get the best deal on whatever. I want to know, what are your local beauty supply stores? Because beauty supply stores can sometimes have better deal, worse deal. Sally is gonna be the most pricey because it's a chain and professional.
Cheaper than the beauty supply stores.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yes. It can be cheaper than beauty supply stores sometimes, but I feel like for a Black brand, that's where it can get tricky for a Black, because even Family Dollar will have name brand Black
they
stuff,
do
sometimes a different size so they can sell it for cheaper. But if it's something you don't use all the time, like a gel, then it could be a good deal. Or if you go to, again, you got to try Marshall's, and it's something that you just have to go in and see because they may have like they had like this brand of mousse, the honey one, I believe, Dr. Maya. But I didn't care for it. It was like too light. I needed something with more hold. So yeah, but anyway, yeah, go
Okay,
ahead and
yeah.
show us your products.
I love this, Helese. I love this. Okay, so here we go. This is the Thank God It's Natural Moisture Rich Sulfate Free Shampoo. This is a
Okay.
shampoo that I use. If you're trying to achieve this look, these are the products that I use for this look. But what was the one that you had, Helese? Which one? Which shampoo? You have the rose.
No. This is the leave-in conditioner. I don't
Absolutely.
use their shampoo.
Got it.
I
Got it.
want to, but again, I cut, what do you call it? I split the difference. So shampoo, since I figure it stays on my hair the least amount of time, I don't spend as much money on it. I may go for a slightly lower tier shampoo that still fits my needs. Um, but the leave-in conditioner is what stays on my hair the longest amount of time, so I don't mind spending a little bit more. This was $13.99. It's 130 ounces, and it's this green tea super moist leave-in conditioner. It has green tea, argan oil, and the first ingredient is water infused with, now this is a mouthful, betramonium, behentramonium methyl sulfate. But there is I think her name is Curly Chemist. She's a cosmetic chemist. She talked about how good this particular chemical is for Black hair. She talks about its origins, what it does on the hair, what it does in products. And so the fact that they have water infused with this as the first ingredient, green tea leaf extract is the second ingredient, and aloe leaf juice is the third ingredient. That's probably why this is so moisturizing.
Mm-hmm. It's
Good job,
aloe.
police. Good job. When they're in the ingredients, when water is the first thing, that's how you know that it's a really good one. That's the product that they're using the most, ingredient they use the most is the first one listed. And then this one is another conditioner that I have, the
Is
Miracle.
that the repair? Yes, I use that too.
Okay, nice. I did not know we were out here using the same products. And then the moisturizer that I told you all about, this is how I get my hair to look like this, is the Buttercream Daily
Okay.
Moisturizer.
Okay.
Yeah, so these
Okay.
are the
Good
three.
to know. That's shea butter based, right? Is it shea butter based?
This one is shea butter and vitamin
How did I
E.
know?
Yeah.
How did I know? Now I just have a couple literal blocks of shea butter over here that I was just gonna emulsify into like a cream, but I haven't done any of that yet because I've gotten lazy when it comes to making my own stuff, except like a tea rinse, because that's really simple.
And we know Jase
Um,
got that spray bottle with that oil. What kind of oils in your spray bottle?
Oh my goodness. Don't remember the name because really it's whatever is available as long as it's natural. And it's true, I use any shampoo that is for our hair and that doesn't like dry the hair because I have very fine hair. But I'm not like very loyal to one brand. Like whatever is on offer, whatever is, yeah, that's what I would go
This is
for. And also, yeah,
traveler.
and because I go so many, I'm always out there. I really can't just be with one brand. But of course,
mhm.
as you were talking, I was adding on Amazon because I send them to my daughter. I was just looking
Oh,
at the
she's
food
gonna
and that's
love
not
it.
talking, but I
I
was like
love
adding
it.
everything. She'll buy them and I will try them as well.
Jase, I love that. What is
Yes.
I
Jase, what
don't.
does your shirt say?
Oh, uh,
Look,
Traveling
the
retirement
real
plan.
traveler right there. Love that.
yeah, travel is the new retirement plan. We're not retiring. We're traveling
Yes.
until our legs can't carry us anymore. We're gonna travel.
Um, so another moisturizer that I use, the Shea Butter African Pride line, I really like because it's a little bit lower cost. So if you don't want to pay $14 and $15 per product, you can pay $4 to $6 or $7 per product. And it's a curling cream, so it's not as essential as this, but it's still very moisturizing. And it just defines the curls a little bit. Moisturizing fine, shea butter and flaxseed oil. So it's still like a creamy consistency, but and I even use it on this. I've used it on this wig as well. But I mean, I prioritize my own hair, so I haven't used it on this wig in a while, but this wig takes a ton of moisture as well. Like, and when you talked about smoothing it all through, I had to go because I had neglected this wig for so long, I wasn't wearing it. So I had to go track by track and like basically spray it down, put some gel, like do something because it was like really, really tangled and dry. So I needed to make sure that it was looking decent for this. But a shampoo that a line that you can find out here in Mexico if you're ever planning on visiting, Maui Moisture. They usually have these in grocery stores. Now these will cost about $10 or so. But what I like about their stuff is the first ingredient is, well, this is a shampoo, so I think the first ingredient may be water, but no, it's always aloe juice. The first ingredient is aloe juice. So that's definitely going to provide like slip and all this stuff. And this is their really, really gentle clarifying shampoo. So I don't use it that much, but every once in a while. And for my shampoos on a more regular basis, I experiment with different Mexican ones that are just here. It could be at the health food store. It could be at the grocery stores here. The Garnier Fructis line, the cocoa butter line, is a deep conditioner that I use. So that works. That works for me. But I thought that I might want to try the aloe line as well. And then another brand that they have out here for styling, they have Cantu. I really didn't care for Cantu. They've cut down on that fragrance because it used to be overwhelming. This doesn't smell as bad. I didn't actually get this from Mexico, but I know they sell this brand here. They sell it in Sally. They sell it in other beauty supply stores. They sell it in the grocery stores. They sell the Cantu line. So if people like that, it's here. And this is a avocado oil and shea butter gel. So I use this, it's for a little bit, on my coils or whatever, and it just provides a little bit of hold. And then I don't really do much else to it except put a little bit more moisturizer on if it feels dry until I wash it again. Because these are the times when I could do my hair in 5 minutes. There's no twisting, there's no flat twisting that I need to do right now. And since I am trying to grow it out, I look forward to all the different stages again, to the TWA, the teeny weeny afro, to getting it to a length where I can like you have the what is it, the puff, and then the pineapple, and then the big fro. Like I feel like my hair just loves to be in a fro, and I do feel like that is the style that suits me the most. Whether it be a pick and pat fro where it's like very compact, you know what I'm saying, or whether it be like a wash and go where the curls are a little bit more defined or whatever. But I love a fro on me. So
Okay,
yeah, there we are. I feel like this was a really great combo. Go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I know some people have to go. Just wanted to know if we wanted to keep going, if we wanted to wrap up, if people wanted to just leave and we continue.
I'm gonna have to go because I have a meeting now.
Okay.
Because the girl doesn't sleep and she works even at 8 p.m. So it was such a pleasure to spend some time with you guys, always is. And I just want to end by saying that what gives me hope today, right? I think things are changing, not as fast as we want to, but they're changing. I feel like more women have less fear, to wear the hair. They feel more empowered with, all of you sitting here, all of us sitting here and wearing our hair, or even you, Helese, because you also have the right to change and do whatever you want to do with your hair. And yeah, so that freedom is powerful. The fact that today I wouldn't have imagined like 20 years ago when I was living in France over 20 years ago that I would ever wear locks on my hair. And it was always a dream for me, right? So this is such a freedom to be able to wear this, to wear things in my head and still earn money, right? Yeah, I don't work for a corporate. I create my own, work, but it's still progress. So yeah. And sorry that I have to leave early, but I just have to go to a meeting. And you guys continue, and
Thank you, Jase.
I check on the replay what I've missed. And thank you for all of you out there, the ladies in the chat. And yeah, thank you again, and see you soon.
Thank you, Jase.
Bye, Jase. Have a
right.
good meeting. Thank you for your contributions.
Thank you. Bye bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, I don't know how much longer you all can stay, but one thing that we didn't get to talk about last time was dating and hair. We never got to that.
We
That's
yeah.
So I just will say for the end for a reason. Oh lordy.
I don't know what to say about dating period in general, because I'm just like, until I can find somebody who understands what their role is and a man who knows his place, ain't gonna be no dating. Ain't gonna be no dating. You know.
I feel like this is turning into like the live after dark. It's like BT after dark, but like
BT after dark. We got in trouble for watching that.
I mean, okay, so I'll say this. In terms of hair and dating specifically, because I did see those questions, in my head, I was like, we'll just go to the hair care and then we'll just save that for a whole nother conversation. But since you brought it up,
wait, what were the questions again? Hold on. Do you have them on hand? I did see the date.
Specifically about dating is, what kind of hairstyles do you think men idealize on women, and how do you watch out for texturism when you're dating? Those kinds of questions were in here, but I kind of purposely skipped them. I was like, we could do a part 3 and focus it all on that, but I'm glad you brought it. No, I'm glad you brought it up. Like, I'm chilling.
I will tell you all, I'll just get right into it. I'm gonna be Vonnie. I'm gonna just go right there with it. There was a Black man that I dated. My hair was in a 2-strand twist. The twists were really short, like not even, there's no hang time. We're not making no ponytails. Like it just lay there because it's not long enough to do anything. And he said, quote, "Your hair looks god awful." And it made me so sad because I was like trying to embrace the natural hair. And he said
That's
that
not your man.
that's not my man. Don't worry, that's not my man. That's somebody else, man. And then there was this white guy who was like interested in dating me, and he was like, "Yeah, we could have gone on a date, but it's the hair for me." Like, pretty much, I had my hair at that time; it was in a fro, maybe like a TWA, and he was just not interested. So I think a lot of my internalized texturism has also come from dating and dudes telling me that my hair was not cute enough, or it wasn't giving, or like making fun of me for my hair. So I wonder what you all's experience was with that. Has anybody ever said anything to you about your hair in terms of you were just dating them? It wasn't even a conversation about hair. And they were like, "Yeah, I know some men are like, I want my girlfriend to have straight hair," or "I like your hair better when it's like this." Do you all have those experiences, or you're like, "I'm just doing what I do"?
Oh no, I do. I remember wearing my hair out, maybe not dissimilar to this. And I was dating a guy at the time. This was in my early 20s, who told me I looked like Sideshow Bob from The Simpsons. So yeah, and unfortunately, I still continue to date him because I was young, and what we know now is not what we knew before. So I'm not even gonna be like, "Oh, I dumped him." I
We
did
put up
not.
with a lot of BS when we were younger.
Yeah, we do. We definitely do. I've definitely had men say things about my hair. Um, I think I don't get I think people can be slightly nicer because I'm considered attractive, especially for a dark skinned person, right? Like, being attractive or being perceived as attractive is a thing. But it doesn't mean that I haven't never received shit about my hair.
Yeah.
Um, and I think because also when I had shorter hair, like for example, when I had cut and dyed my hair ginger. Actually, I was ginger twice. Once I didn't cut my hair, and then once I
Wow.
was top and I was ginger. So yeah, I've done
I
it
would
all.
love to see that. Yeah.
I might pull up something for y'all I'll put it in the WhatsApp, the group chat. And I love when I was a ginger. And I feel like I didn't get the brunt of the short hair because I was skinny at the time, right? And I was tall and I modeled at the time. So that was like the look to have, right? But people still said something shit about my hair. I think now, if I'm going to be honest, there is very much an acceptable look for a Black woman, and that is to wear wigs, weaves, braids, right? And I'm not above wearing a wig. I'm on a length retention journey, so I'm thinking of even wigging it up. I'm not above that. I do like getting braids. So I'm not gonna sit here and be like, everybody would, but I also know that I am perceived differently when I, wear braids in my hair, or if I were to wear a wig, that was like a looser texture, right? Like I know that I'm going to be received more favorably by Black men if I'm just going to keep it like 1,000%. Dating now, how I avoid the texturist and the colorist. Honestly, if I look like this, Black men don't approach me. Black men rarely approach me. And that's how I know. I was like, oh, this is a natural texturist and colorist filter right here. If I go
Oh,
outside
that's a good
like this,
point.
like when I go to mostly Black spaces, I do not get approached. When I go to mixed spaces with other Black people, I guess that's when I guess other men are approaching me. That's I guess when Black men also started approaching me as well. That's something that I've noticed, even living in the DMV area, Chocolate City, whatever. But and I hate to say this, I don't like to bring up that stereotype, but I do feel like when I have dated men who are not Black, they did appreciate my hair because they don't look at my hair like, oh, it's nappy. They just look at my hair like, oh, your hair is so cool, it's fluffy, it fits your face, it fits your features, right? Like they're
It's
not in the back.
cloud-like.
Right. They don't understand, texturism. 3C is supposed to be better than 4C. They just look at your hair and be like, okay, bet. Like it looks good. It looks good on you, like, you wear it fluffy. I had an ex who I dated who was not Black. He was a white person and he loved playing my hair. He was like, oh, your hair's so soft and fluffy. A Black man would not play in my hair because he would think, A, my hair is hard or whatever, whatever negative insinuations associated with kinky hair, right? And also, like, if we got to keep it 100, like, it is the women who wear wigs and braids almost exclusively, right? Like the girls who we never see their hair out, who do get more play from Black men. And in my opinion, as someone who has lived in this body and this skin tone for this long on earth, can't speak to other people's experiences, but that has been mine.
And I want to say, Vonnie, yeah, when I have dated white guys, they were like super excited about my hair or didn't say anything. I remember, and I'm so sorry to say this, y'all, but I just have to call my young self out. This one white guy I dated, I was like, hey, I gotta braid my hair at night. So in the morning, I can have like a braid out and I can pull it back. And I'm like, it's gonna look like a mugshot picture, but just don't worry about it. Like, I'm gonna put my scarf on. And I'm like ashamed that I said that. I was like, oh, why? But I had
Mm.
internalized too. And a lot of times we did not talk about jail and prison, but a lot of times that's when Black people are. Don't laugh, Elisa. Be
You're like, we didn't mention. No, I didn't think
You
that.
know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like that's when they force us to take off the wig. So that's when you can see people in natural hair, natural
I
braids,
mean, no,
I
that's true.
at the
That's
same time, put
true.
a
That's true.
whole
That's true.
bundle up in the cell, right? So anyway, I had internalized that too. And in TV shows, they show that as well. Like when a Black person's doing well, hair is flowing in the wind, straightened, and then when they go to prison, now it's like braids or a natural hairstyle. And I
Mm.
problematic association that we have in media. But just in general, I what really messed with my mind, Vonnie, was the fact that I was like, how is it that white supremacy is the reason that we have anti-blackness, but yet the white people, these specific white people, were chilling and fine with the hair? I was like, what? Like, y'all ancestors are the ones that created this, and now y'all just gonna be like, oh, it's fine with me. I'm like, I am really upset about that. And then
That's
there's
interesting. I think,
people.
yeah, not all of them internalized it in the same way and to the same degree, and I think that's why they even date Black women. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's going to be those who are going to be embracing of it, just like most Black men have internalized misogynoir, really. So the ones who, even the hoteps, the ones who say that they prefer natural hair, they still internalize that, but maybe not to the same degree. Or they freed their mind. You know what I'm saying? They did the work and they only go for women who, but I don't like when it becomes a judgment of women who do, and then they try to put those women in a box and be like, oh, because it's like I
And
don't like that
right.
either. So I feel like, for me, I've never. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say I agree.
Oh,
Like,
I was gonna say for me in dating, my first, like, I was in New York, right? So my first boyfriend, I had natural hair the whole time. It was probably like the length of Dr. Maya. So it was like, I could do different things with it, whatever. I would go long periods of time without braids, weaves, wigs, or anything like that. I don't know why I go through those periods. Part of it is cost, but the other part is just like, I just feel like I want to wear my hair out or whatever the case may be. And then I'll go to a period of time where I'm like, let's go, let's experiment. Oh, they got this new thing, Like, let's try all the things for a period of time. So I feel like it goes in cycles. So I didn't have any issues with the first one. He was Haitian American, and I guess he was one of those ones who preferred natural hair or whatever the case may be. Out and dating around, I've always just been myself with it. Like, right now I'm on Facebook dating, right? And so I have all short hair pictures because I don't want you to be, not that I care so much if they're surprised when they see me, because I haven't gone out on a date with anyone from there yet, but it's just the fact of like, this is how I look today. This is how I'm most likely going to look. So I can show up to the date looking any kind of way that I want to, but this is like, chances are, just literally statistically, I'm going to look like this from day to day. So here's my short hair. Mexican men, they don't have any issue with it. They'd be like, oh, you're so beautiful, whatever the case may be. I mean, I just put great pictures on the site. So it is what it is. But I probably, like, if I went out with this hair versus my short hair, I probably would get more attention. But in general, like, they do not approach me. Like, the one time I have been approached on the street, I did have my short hair. I mean, it never turned into anything because I was gonna say, every time I meet somebody, I feel like I get sick and it like messes up the whole thing. And then for 2 weeks, I'm just like, I get sick. I'm in the house, and then we never meet up. And then I realize I don't really even like you like that. So like, no, this is not going to be anything. And they not put in the effort that I can see, and then they're just not showing the right signs. So I'm just like, I don't know. So I feel like in general, I feel like regardless of how my hair is in general, like, I'm not really approached by men here. Um, and especially Black men, like, so yeah, may get a little bit more attention with big curly hair than short, but it ain't gonna be to that degree because I am an unambiguously Black woman who is tall, you know what I'm saying, and outspoken, and I don't know what they think, but maybe I look expensive because I'm not going 50-50 on the bill. I'm not going 50-50 on the bill. I don't care what the international global economic situation is. At the end of the day, you're a man. So you're a man and know your place. I don't care what the exchange rate is. I don't care what the difference in income is. You're a man. So
exchange rate.
I'm going to treat you like you're a man because you're still going to try to take it. Most men are still going to try to take advantage of women no matter what country they're in or from.
Men are men.
So
that's what I say. Even me dating across races, I'm like, men are men are men are men are men. There are good ones and there are bad ones everywhere. Totally agree. Totally agree.
So it's like, I don't know. I was telling my friend this. I was like, I think I need to spend some time. I mean, I love New Orleans. I need to go to New Orleans. I need to go to Florida. I need to go somewhere where I could be around large numbers of Black men. Not because, I mean, yeah, I guess I'll say they are my preference because those are the men who I've dated. Those are the ones who I've been in love with. Those are the ones I've had relationships with. Like, white men don't approach. In my 20s, white men used to approach me in New York. And it just never went anywhere. It just never went anywhere. I just never had any meaningful, lasting relationship with them. Above all, I just prefer someone who understands a man's place in a position is to serve women. You know what I'm saying? Like, period. I just, that's what you need to have. You need to be intellectually capable to carry on a great conversation. You need to love your life and be doing everything to take care of yourself. To, you know what I'm saying? Don't come over here dumping all your problems on me. I'm not an emotional dumping ground. I got rid of everybody who did that. You know what I'm saying? nope. And you need to come in and make my life better and more enhanced. If you can't do that, I don't need you because I'm already like literally so happy. Like you
I
just
agree.
have to, so it's like, I don't know what kind of hairstyle it's going to take, but I feel like the posture is the most important thing. Like the posture that I'm in is like so happy. Maybe they're repelled by that. They're like, what can I add to that?
Mm. I
But
mean, no,
happiness is my filter.
listen, everything you said is facts. Please love your own life, have friends, have a social network, have hobbies, love yourself. That's goes for everyone, right?
Yes. Yes. Take care of
No,
yourself.
take care
Don't
of
let your
yourself.
health decline,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. No, I agree with that entirely. It's so funny because I used to live in Houston. That's where I lived before I moved to DMV, but I'm originally from the East Coast. And I remember going out with a friend. She is East African, but she looks Indian, because Indians and East Africans, mixed historically. And one day we went to a club, and Houston to me is very colorist. And I've had friends who are darker skinned who don't even wear out their natural hair who say the same thing. And one time we went to a club, we were all dressed up, and she went to the bathroom for a while and got a drink. And she was like, "Why are you still here alone? Nobody's coming to talk to you." She was like, "I don't understand. You're so beautiful." Blah blah blah. I was like, "Girl, I'm black." I had braids in my hair. I had long braids, so I was like, "Girl, I'm black." Like, and I look black. Not only black, I am African. I am West African. I am proud of it. I look like my people. People be asking me, they're like, "Oh, you from so country?" I'm like, "Yep, I look like my people. I'm very proud of my heritage." I was like, "Girl, nobody gonna talk to me here." I was like, it's not it. And I think like you said, I worked really hard, like almost all of my life, to battle internalized colorism that I had within myself, internalized texturism, featureism, um oh my god, all the isms, right? Because in this world, the further away you are from whiteness, the more people will try to kill your fucking spirit and make you feel like you are nothing, make you feel like how you look is nothing, your hair is nothing, your skin is nothing, your features don't deserve to be uh um what's the word I'm looking for? Your features don't deserve to be
Celebrated.
celebrated. And Helese, you brought up a good point. It's not just with Black people, right? Asian people, Southeast Asian people doing it, right? The amount of ethnic rhinoplasties among all races, I'm sure, I don't have statistics on that, are probably going up, right? You have lightening and straightening really popular in India and the Philippines and other South Asian countries, right? Like, all of us are experiencing the same BS, right? Everyone is experiencing the fact that the further away you are from whiteness or some kind of racial ambiguity, the more and more people are telling you the way you look, the way you sound, the way you act, the way you move across this world is wrong.
Mm.
And I think that is why I'm adamant about wearing my natural hair, even though I love to switch it up, because I'm like, no, nothing is wrong with me. What is wrong is this system. What is wrong is this world that was created that no one wants to break because it only benefits a couple of people, and we all think it benefits us, but it doesn't. That is what's wrong with the world. The way I look, there's nothing wrong with the way I look. Africa is the horn of civilization. It's the birthplace of civilization. Like, anyway,
Yeah.
that's my
I,
rant.
I love that because that's a message that comes through in so much of your content, like examining our place in this world with its messed up systems. How do we still find joy in that? So I love how you always bring it back to that because that's what we're doing with the content of our channels as well. Like you, Dr. Maya, traveling, even choosing to be a PhD in African studies. You're choosing to devote your life's work when, I'm sure people told you, ain't no money in that. Why don't you just like do engineering and just like do that on the side or whatever? And I recently came to the realization because as I've been like, this is one of the first times in my life where I'm like, okay, it's a new year. I'm literally going to plan for the year. I'm going to look ahead for the whole entire year. I got a calendar
Mm.
that shows me the whole year. So I'm like, year is only 12 months. It's not that long. Let's try to make some meaningful change within that 12 months. Right. So I'm doing things and I'm like working with time. And I'm like, I want to like my finances, I want to start like investing for the future and things like that and getting back into that. Then I realized all these companies that people are talking about, the FANG companies like Facebook, what is it? Facebook, Apple, what's the N one? I don't know, Nvidia,
Yeah.
Google, these
Mhm.
huge tech companies that we're supposed to be investing in to make sure our portfolios are straight and everything and we're set up for the future can be doing some really unethical things. And so I'm like, wait, so I have to ensure the stability of my future through investing in companies that are actively, if they're not
Mm,
trying to make a worse world, they're not trying to protect and create a better one necessarily. How can my ensured safe existence in the next 20 years depend on that? No, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's got to be a different way. There's got to be a way to build it. Like, how come I can't invest in this? I don't know if it's traded publicly, but I'm saying, how come I can't invest in this company? No, I'm so serious. Like, I want a way that I can still like. I like choosing companies to invest. You know, I like choosing companies to invest in that I feel deserve my money. That way, every time I spend, I know I'm paying a little bit of myself. I want
yeah.
to get something back for this that I spent. You know what I'm saying? But like, why
Why?
does my future have to depend on me investing in unethical companies that are not trying to make a world that's safer for me as a Black woman? You know what I'm saying? Or a worker in general, not trying to make the world more comfortable for me as a worker in general, for me to
Yeah.
work remotely. You know what I'm saying? For me to work with more flexibility, for me to have really good pay for what I do. Or they're not trying to contribute to universal basic income or something. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right. Or
what
just for you
what
to have a
what are
life,
we
which
really doing? So I feel like it is really important to like zoom out, look at the
yeah.
yes.
I'm sorry, Helese. We didn't catch. At least on my end, I didn't catch like the last part. Can you repeat what you said?
I was just saying why I think it's really important for us to zoom out and look at like, I mean, this conversation is not just a conversation. We're trying to exist in this world that a lot of the way we live is dictated by these huge companies that
Absolutely.
we're told we must keep our hard-earned money and invest in over the next 20 years. And those long-term investments are what's going to ensure our safety when we're in retirement. And I feel like that cannot be the only way. You know what I mean? Like that can't
Yeah.
be the only way. So I want to, yeah, I feel like our next conversation should be about work, should be about the future of work and all of that, because we need to, it's just like, oh, and I really hope that Marissa can be a part of that conversation. Um, because she's really doing the work of creating collectives, you know what I'm saying, of people who
Mhm.
just have different types of skills that they gain from the corporate or nonprofit world that we're still in, you know what I'm saying? Like I work in
Mhm.
telehealth. Like it doesn't get more for profit than the healthcare industry, baby. You know, so it's just like how can we ensure that like the only way that we don't a future that's safe for us to live, that's comfortable for us to live in and explore and play and frolic as Black women and be soft and everything without having to funnel our money into these companies that we're told are the holy grail of investment. And there's got to be alternatives. There's got to be other ways. Like there has to be. So I know that was a tangent. I'm so
No,
sorry, but
come on. I was sitting here nodding like a little bobblehead the whole time. I was like, mhm. No, it's true. It is. And I think this is someone once said that like once you start having empathy for people, life isn't fun.
Mhm.
And that's very true. Once you realize that we are all living under this damn system, and some of us are actively trying hard to reimagine a world where like all of this doesn't it's not a thing, right? I think about Bridgerton, where like Shonda Rhimes has created this universe that everyone is a different race, and even though race is acknowledged, no one is treated differently because of their race. You know
Mm.
what I mean? And we could live in a world like that, right? But we don't live in that world because the powers that be don't want that, right? I don't want to sound like like a hotel, but y'all know. Y'all know what I mean.
No, yeah, it's pretty
It is really,
mainstream knowledge at this point.
yeah. I don't know. Sometimes I talk to people. I had somebody accuse me and say I was too woke, and I was like, I don't think I'm woke. I say I think I'm a very curious person who knows a lot about the world, who is well read, and who questions things. I question a lot of things, but I think using woke now has now turned into an insult, even among our kinfolk, unfortunately. But it is really hard to love yourself under capitalism. It is really hard to have empathy. It's really hard to create a community and to have friends, like you said, right? Have a job where you can have a life, you can follow, you can be free, you can have joy. Have a life where work is not the center of it, right? Because that is what we're taught. Like your career is supposed to be the center of your life. Your career and aspiring to have a better career with more money, climbing up that corporate ladder. Um, and I do think there are people in this world who are actively trying to reimagine a different world, right? At times, I can only speak for me, it feels really overwhelming when I think about like all the shit that's happening, especially like has a Black woman. But then I think to myself, if I love myself, someone's going to see that. Last week I went to FedEx to like drop off something. And I just walked in there, and funny, I had straightened out my hair like a week before, so it was like a lot straighter. And I walk into the store and I'm talking to a girl, and she's biracial. She looks young. And she was like, I'm sorry, I just have to say something. And I was like, oh, what you gotta say to me, girl? And she was like, you just make me so proud to be Black. You just walked in here with like such a calm air. She was like, you didn't say anything but hi, how are you? She was like, you just kind of walked in with like this queen energy. And I was like, thank you. It took me a while to like say thank you, but I was like, thank you. And she was like, did you go to HBCU? And I said, oh no, girl, I went to PWI. So I was like, what you said, like your comment means a lot more than you like ever know. Cause I know what I've been through to get rid of all the internalized bullshit. And I'm still doing the work. I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm involved. I'm not. I told you I'm trying to lose weight. So um
Wait,
but
why is losing weight not evolved? Like,
because thinness is it's prized in our society,
but
right?
no, white thinness, but Black thinness and white thinness ain't the same.
It ain't the same, but like for me, who I'm tall, and I've naturally always been like very thin. Like at one point, I was a size 2'4", and at 5'10", that is yes. And Dr. Ma, you looking at me crazy? Yes, that is small. And that wasn't even me being purposely thin. I was just like young and had like the highest metabolism ever, right? And noticing how people treat me differently. And I'm not going to say that like I'm a bigger person. I don't want to say that I'm in a plus size body. I don't want to I want to respect people who actually live in like larger bodies who are stigmatized. I don't live in a larger body that's stigmatized, but I'm not skinny anymore. And I know the validation I received when I was small, and I'm not trying to get back to a size 2 or 4 at this age. That's unhealthy. But did I notice that people treated me nicely and like commented and like, oh my God, do you model? And I used to model. I'm like, yeah, like, so that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not free from everything.
Vonnie, can I say something about that real quick?
Yes, go ahead.
Because I just feel like we're living like a similar life.
Parallel existences.
So someone said that if you are a dark-skinned woman, then the body has to be amazing. And that could also be a piece that you and I have both internalized of the fact that it's like, okay, because I have this skin tone, because I have this hair, what is the one thing that people will compliment? And this is a struggle I have as well, similar to you. I was never a 2 or 4 like you, but I was very muscular. I've been an athlete, and people used to be like, oh my God, you look like a Serena Williams. Like, look at your body.
Right.
And now they don't say that anymore. And I'm with you. I do not live in a larger body, but it's just like less definition and more like jiggle. And so I'm also like, I need to be in the gym. I need to get this together. I miss those compliments. And so I think it is true that you and I have both internalized that, and we miss those compliments. Maybe people weren't always giving us compliments on like the skin or the hair or whatever. So it's like, as a woman, what could we get? it's the body. And that is like so sad. It's always something, I think, for women that we're like holding on to. This is the one thing. Some of the women, it is the hair. They're like, I could never cut my hair because, people always compliment me on that. Or I could never, I always have to wear a certain outfit or dress a certain way because we like that attention. And I think for you and I, that probably is body. And that's why we got to go dumb. So I think, Helese, that's the thing that we need to work on, is the fact that we should be fine with the body compliment or not, thin or not, like we should be happy with it. But I'm like, if I eat too many donuts one day, I'm like, okay, so now you got to be in the gym 10 times this whole week because you ate them two donuts. I see you, and that's not okay. Like, we have internalized fat phobia.
Okay, I definitely am not I'm not going to talk against your lived experience because it's totally correct. But maybe there's an underlying mechanism in your body saying work out because you ate the two donuts because you need to burn off the sugar so your liver can, be right, and your hormones can be right. And maybe these are like, because the body is so freaking intelligent. Maybe that's why, especially if you have the conditioning to work out. I respect athletes so much for that reason. Maybe your body just wants to get you back into homeostasis. So maybe there's a part of you who wants the compliments. But let me say this. People say, oh, you shouldn't need external validation. Says who? Why else are we here, bro? Why did God make us with eyes? Why did God make mirrors? You know what I'm saying?
You live
like
on the earth as a human, you need validation. If you
need external validation
as a child and no one validates you as an adult, you'll be fucked up as an adult. Some people say, I don't care what nobody says. I'm like, rewind that just a little bit. I'm sorry, Helese, I didn't mean to.
No, but it's so true. No, it's so true, because it's like, I don't think there's anything wrong with, because in you wanting the external validation, you're gonna reap so many benefits of working out regularly. Like, we're still learning all the benefits of freaking exercise. As someone with ADHD, I follow a lot of ADHD like IG creators and YouTube creators and things like that. The way they break down what exercise does, it should be a part of the regular routine of someone who has ADHD who wants to manage it, especially without medication. So for diabetes, you know what I'm saying? America, I hate to say it, but we fat as hell. Like, we're obese as hell. And I know, because I work in healthcare, we prescribe these GLP-1s, and that is our main moneymaker. Like, I'm just gonna call it. That's my perspective. And it's like, we'll do anything. We're going to do anything to get that quick fix. Okay. So the fact that somebody's willing to go in, doesn't have to be a gym, but go and work out and physically do the work, your hormones benefit, your brain benefits, your skin benefits. Like, and if a little compliment on the side is what's driving you to do it, maybe that's the body protecting you. Especially into older age, we need more muscle building exercises as women, because our muscle mass can get weaker, our bones can get more brittle. So we need weight bearing exercises. That's why they're always emphasizing protein and all these little diet videos. It's like protein, because we need to keep building that muscle. I'm letting you know right here and now, I'm hardly doing any of it. I'm trying to eat protein, but I'm not a huge person who's in the gym like that. I live in a city that's walking friendly, and that forces me to walk. But I stretch, I do a little bit of yoga, I try to dance hard enough to sweat and everything, but I've never gotten to that point where I've consistently over years and years, or even over several months at a time, like 6 months or more, like been consistently exercising that 30-minute high cardio aerobic. Nah, it has never been me. So I admire someone 4 times a week. I mean, that's incredible. You know what I'm saying? That's incredible. I have to remind myself, go outside, because if I can go to the roof and sunbathe and stretch on my yoga mat, I would have been untricked myself that I don't need to do anything else, because it just feels so. I like to envision the sun is melting all the excess fat off of me. I don't think that's how it works.
I mean, but you get vitamin D, and you do need vitamin D to synthesize your body. So, like,
you do.
You are being healthy by going out in the sun and absorbing vitamin D.
It's true. Jase is not here anymore, but she mentioned, like, she talked about a lot of Black women having fibroids. I have fibroids, and vitamin D, lack of vitamin D is linked to the fibroid growth. So I like to think that going out, sunbathing, as negative as I can be so that more square inches of my skin can be absorbing this vitamin D is helping all of that. I feel like we need to have a whole health conversation separate too, because the fibroid conversation and my health journey with that is a whole nother conversation. But no, I don't think there's anything wrong with the external validation. And me now, I'm like, heck, I'm trying to model now with all the extra weight that I've gained. I've gained weight, I've lost weight again. Because even when I first moved to Mexico City, I saw some pictures. I was just like, damn, I'm glad I lost a little weight because I feel like it helps me move easier and I feel like it helps me get into my stretches better when I don't have as much excess weight. So I don't think there's anything wrong. There's nothing wrong. The whole reason I went into that spiel is because I wanted to let you guys know, like, there's nothing wrong with wanting the compliments that come from you working on your body and your health. And there's nothing wrong with being vain, honestly, a little bit vain and being appearance aware. No, nothing wrong with it. Nothing. I refuse to let yourself feel guilty about it.
It's not necessarily like, I wouldn't say the guilt per se. It is, yes, I do want to fit into some of my older clothing again. I have lived my adult life at a very socially acceptable weight, right? Talking about especially, being darker skin, having natural hair, blah, blah, blah. I was blessed with an extremely high metabolism up until 5 years ago. And so I think a part of it is a little bit jarring. And I think a part of it is like, yes, external validation. And also part of it, I know that I will move through life easier. People would treat me nicer if I was thinner. And I'm not, like I said, I am not a large person at all. If anybody see me in person, no one will ever say that I was large, right? But I'm also aware of the world that we live in. And I do know that people are kinder to thinner bodies, unfortunately. So yeah, I think for me, two things can exist. Yes, I am vain. I do like to take care of myself. I feel like as a dark skinned person, I want to represent, right? I want to show off the beauty. I want to show that like we are beautiful. You do not need to look a certain way to be beautiful. Like beauty is in all forms. I take pride in how I look. I take pride in my ancestral heritage and like all the ancestors from thousands of years ago that got me to look like this, right? And my family, I take pride in all of that. And I also know that we live in this world. So
yeah. Wow. I mean, maybe that's my reason for wanting to sew in sometimes.
I mean, listen, I love a good sewing. I'm trying to find someone who would do a sewing for me. I used to have like a little 18, 20 inch, like little kinky situation. It was cute. And I'm trying to find somebody to do it for me. Maybe not now because the weather is getting warmer and I don't like having a sewing when it's like hot outside, but like for the winter time. Yeah. But,
I'm waiting to grow my hair out. The first stage, so this is pretty much the length of it. The first stage is only gonna be long enough for like some kind of individual, But if I get a sew-in, that'll be the first time I ever get a sew-in and have ever gotten one. And you know what always puts me off the cost, because the cost of the hair plus the cost of the labor, that's what puts it into the three.
Hair though.
True. I do know there's an African woman who does it up here. My friend got one and hers looks good. And so when my hair gets long enough, it'll be the end of the year before that's even possible. Like my hair is not going to be long enough for that for a while, but I love my fro. And so I can't wait for it to grow out. And as long as I continue to work on simplifying and good hair care, like you said, length retention, I achieved length retention with wigs, but it wasn't because of the wig. It was because I wasn't doing anything to my hair. See, if my hair is exposed to my hands, I'm going to touch it. I love my hair. So I can't keep my hands out of it. I'll be like, oh, let me do a half up, half down. Let me try to flat twist this little part right here. Like, it's a protection. Like, it's truly protective. I don't care if the ends get split on this. I mean, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I feel like this is like, I can do this. And to do this to my natural hair, I know what I'm creating. If I'm doing this to my own hair at this length, I'm creating knots, I'm creating single strand knots, I'm creating tangles. But if I do it to this, it's like, yeah, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, it's going to be interesting this time around for me to see if I can push past that 2-year plateau before I cut it off again, because that's what I normally do. Grow it out for 2 years, cut it. And it's just like, let's see if we can go a little further this time. But yeah, compliments. I feel like no one gives a compliment like a Black woman. That has been scientifically proven. Okay. So sorry. I know I'm like, it's been qualitatively proven. I don't know about quantitatively. Okay. I wanted to make a, because we got a PhD in how we gotta be, but but qualitatively we know that to be true. So I feel like there's nothing wrong with it. So when someone said, one of the girls say, hey, your body is tea, like, yes, this, eat that up. It's important. It's for you. And it's inspiring. Like when I first started seeing like Black women on IG who was like a little bit thicker, had belly, and they were still doing their little bathing suit lingerie, like that was inspiring to me. I was like, oh yes. Like I don't have to be as thin as I was in my 20s, or I also don't have to be, but I'm sorry, the BBL era did get me because I've never had a slim waist at all. So, that that hip to waist ratio thing got me, and I internalized. I was like, oh, I don't have, I literally considered getting one. The truth is, if I'm not willing to pay somebody $400 to sew my hair in, I'm not about to pay nobody no $14,000 to inject me with my own fat. But it was it still was harmful, I would feel like, for me to think about that. But now they have like non-invasive lipo. They got like these are ancient practices, actually. The little, the wood suction cup stuff, like the wood massage that helps you just have a more like, it helps snatch your waist because they're removing trap, like, what is it? Retain water. Yes, it's like lymphatic drainage. So it's not really helping you lose weight except like excess water weight and like waste and stuff like that. And it looks like it feels good. And the cupping, they can actually help your hips. It doesn't last that long. It's temporary, but it's also not going to kill you. It's not going to give you deep vein thrombosis. You know what I'm saying? So it's I think it's really made popular in Colombia, Dr. Maya, the different like massages with the wooden things that help you smooth out your shape and everything. And, they say an apple and peanut butter together is like a natural Ozempic. You know what I'm saying? My mom eats that every day. My mom she gained a little bit of weight, but there was a time we were like, Mom, you need to gain some weight. Like this is getting to be too much, but she eats an apple and peanut butter every single night. So she's literally like, there's so many natural things that we can do to like keep our health and our hair and everything like in tip-top shape. Health and beauty comes from the inside out. It really does. Your thoughts?
What do you have to say? Dr. I feel like you've been quiet.
I'm just listening. Okay, lots of thoughts. One, I think that two things can be true, Helese. I think one, you're right. Like for me, when I eat stuff that's unhealthy, I'm like, I need to get this out of my body. It's been too much sugar today. I also like will drink a lot of water to flush things out. But I do think the other thing is true, that I do seek compliments because I'm like, I'm like probably still the same size, but I just don't have the muscle definition. And I miss being like, oh my God, are you like an athlete? Oh my God, you look so strong. I miss that. And I'm like, for what? It doesn't matter. You're fine. So I think I need to just work on that. And I talked to a friend, and she had mentioned for women, it is an ongoing struggle. Like as our body changes, as we age, like the way people respond to it different, the way you see your own body. And so she's like, this is only the beginning. I was like, no, because I just want to like stay the same. But I guess that is not an option. So yeah, I love to eat. So I would never be just an apple and peanut butter. I can never just do your ball. Like I be so hungry. And I don't know if you witness this, Vonnie, but I'm like, the more I work out, the hungrier I am. But the workout was so that I could look a certain way, but then I get to be even more hungry.
I'm doing that now because I weight lift 3 days a week. So I try to go to the gym 5 days a week, and then I weight lift 3 days. I used to do a lot of weightlifting because even though I was small, I was like small and toned. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, I'm trying to figure out, I'm like, okay, I got to get my protein because as you get older, you lose muscle mass. Black women, I think Black and Asian women have like a higher rate of osteoporosis and like just losing bone density. So I'm trying to be conscious of that, right? I'm turning 40. So I'm like, oh, when is perimenopause going to hit? And so, like, what your friend is saying that like is going to get worse, I'm trying to prevent that worse. And yes, a part of it I want to lose weight. Another part of it is like I actually do want to be healthy. Like if I want to live in this country, in this body, dealing with all of this, like I need to make sure mentally I'm healthy and physically I'm as healthy as possible. I do want to get to a point where like I care less because I don't want to die thinking about like body image shit.
Okay.
you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I hear you, Dr. Maya.
Well, I just want to say the apple and peanut butter is just like a snack. I mean, it's she has her breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But it's just
Listen,
a snack.
apples and peanuts
Okay.
got peanut butter, got fiber, it got fat, it got carbs,
Yes.
it got
And
all
we
the
use
things. I'm not
the
mad at
natural
it.
peanut butter without added sugar, you know what I'm saying? Um, but I hear what you guys are saying about hunger. Here's I know you're gonna laugh because now I'm starting to learn your sense of humor, Dr. Meyer, for sure. When I first started my job, we had to learn so much. And anytime I get into any kind of class, like or learning something new, because the same thing I do with my hair is what I do with life, career. I don't have so many jobs and so many different fields. One time I remember I was taking like a computer programming class or computer building class. Like we had to build a computer or something like that. When I tell you I ate like 3 solid full meals a day, because I feel like my brain was like, and I remember when I was my new job, when I was learning all the trainings and the workflows and stuff like that, I was so freaking famished. I was so hungry. Like, yeah, man, that plus my cycle, like I be eating. And one thing I started to do lately was I was spending quite a bit of money eating out here in Mexico City. So I was like, let me just stop. Let me put a pause on all of this. Like I need to really eat at home. Like we got food in the house. That's the mode I'm in right now. When I tell you like I can eat as much as I want, I can eat as little as I want, I can have the variety I want. I can For some reason it's so hard to find smoked salmon, avocado, and eggs on the same toast. It's like you got to choose one or the other, or you got to pay like thousands of dollars to get all three. And I'm just like, at home, I can build what I want that has all the nutrients that I want. And so I be eating. I be eating. I've noticed since eating at home, like I've been full, I've been sated, I have been satisfied. I don't have to worry about if someone has a weird energy with my food. Cause like when I walk into a place, if they don't greet me from the time I step on the sidewalk with a certain energy, I already feel like you fumbled and I can't eat there because it's like you don't regard me. You know what I mean? So it is in Mexico City, there's way too many options. But I'm like that. My mom can attest to that. One time, and y'all know the restaurant Cava. It's supposed to be like Middle Eastern. You're supposed to, yeah, they had 2 locations. Downtown location is fine. I mean, they lost my business after another incident, but the other one that was closer to our house, I was like, I'm just gonna go to the Cava by our house and blah blah blah. And it was like so sad and depressing in there. Like, I don't know, like no natural light. I don't know what was going on. I like saw some, the little area where you're supposed to make your order. I saw some little bits of food. I was like, ain't no way. I know I promised everybody I was bringing home Cava. I can't do it. I can't do it. Now the other one lost my business because they refused to reheat the bread. And I was just like, you know what? This is the whole reason I came. I can't do this. I'm sorry. I just have an internal conflict with this. Like this is just not a decision. I cannot go through with this. So now I can't eat at Cava because they don't reheat the bread no more. They don't make fresh bread. I said, I'll wait. Usually I'll just wait for them to make the fresh bread. They were like, no, we don't do that. So this relationship can obviously not continue. But I'm just saying, like, when I eat at home, I don't have to worry about all that. You know what I'm saying? Like everything I need is there. And if I don't have it, I can work with what I have and I end up satisfied. So maybe as y'all learn like more recipes that have the protein and the satiety, you know what I'm saying, the healthy fats and everything, you can eat, and it can be like lower calorie. You don't have to undo everything you did in the gym. You know what I'm saying? And you can eat as much as you want, because I don't know. I want you guys to be satisfied. I hate hunger.
Yeah.
I can't
I'm not
stand.
hungry.
Yeah,
I'm,
you're
I'm
right.
not saying you assumed I was hungry. I'm not hungry.
No, I'm just saying, like, I hate like the fact that I just want you to know there are options. I've seen enough IG recipes to know that there's one out there.
No,
There's a
that
bean
is
salad
true.
out there for you that is going
Yes.
to
Bean
satisfy
salad.
all your needs.
You are so right.
No, you're right. You're right. It's just, when you're losing weight, you have to figure out like how much of a deficit in calories you can do, right? Compared to that's only when
Yeah.
you lose weight. It's if you eat less and work more. But no, I'm not starving. I promise you. I'm
Neither
Okay.
neither am I eating too much. I'm with you, Helese. Like eating at home, I love doing that. I'm always, my saying is, "We got food at home." When people are like, "What about?" I'm like, "I got food at home." Right? I'm gonna make something up. I'll conjure something up with what I have at home. Do you all feel like the food that you eat impacts your hair?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I
yeah.
remember like what we eat impacts like our nail growth, impacts our
Mhm.
hair, impacts our skin. Like you are what you eat.
It's
Yeah,
science.
I agree.
Yeah. The healthier I eat, my hair is fine. I'm making sure I'm taking my iron supplements, all of that. I'm fine. Just to get a little bit personal, but I've already talked about it, and I love to be vocal about this because a lot of Black women do suffer with this. I have heavy periods because of the fibroids. Right now, it's not really. I before that we did this live, I said, Dr. Maya, I might need to go do like an intermission in the middle because I need to go take care of this. I need to run to the restroom and all of that. Thank God I haven't had to do that. But the heavy periods can lead to iron deficiency. So
Mm.
I noticed that when I wasn't on top of taking my iron, when I was like, whatever that time I said my hair was like kind of breaking a lot, and I had like some in the middle of my head, I felt like it was just a little bit thinning. I really feel like that could have been iron deficiency. Now that I take my iron, I try to eat healthy fats, I try to eat plant-based foods and things like that. I even cut out red meat. I cut out red meat and chicken and poultry and stuff like that, except fish, because of the hormones that are in that. And I didn't want that to feed the fibroids anymore. I was like, I'm really serious about getting rid of these this year. So, with that said, I've noticed that my hair, again, it just seems thicker. It seems better. It seems, more substantial. Like, I'm thinking that when I first transitioned to natural, I must have been getting a ton of protein and iron, because when I said my hair was like hard, I mean, it was like literally so, it was like how it feels like, how after, if you might do a protein treatment and you don't need the protein treatment, it wasn't breaking, but it was just like each strand felt very resilient.
Mm.
And it wasn't, later on, it became softer, but I feel like when I first transitioned, it was just like really tough. It wasn't like rough, like brillowy or anything like that. But I don't know how to explain it. It was just like some textures of people's hair, like each strand of their hair just feels like quite thick, almost like wiry, versus like soft and silk like, or like cloud like, or like cotton like, which is kind of like more what it is now. But at that time, it was like, so I'm like, I don't know, I must have been, I think I was 18, so I was probably, we're healthy, like we're absorbing all the right nutrients at that time. Stress hadn't really hit me yet in the same way that I've been dealing with it over the years. So I feel like my hair benefited from whatever was happening at that time, because it was just like, like now I feel like if I don't eat right, if I let something slip, then I'll see it in my hair. I'm actually thinking of getting the Mary Ruth's. Have y'all heard of the Mary Ruth's hair growth vitamins or whatever? It's like, it's a
Mm.
full, complete multivitamin, but she puts in some extra nutrients that are known to benefit the hair. I was thinking about getting that. It's like a liquid vitamin. I like her vitamins. They're pretty high quality. So if you're doing a length retention, what I'm saying, you might consider taking those, because I'm gonna try them because I feel like they just work in general. But on top of that, the hair benefits, because I'm trying to grow this hair in record time. Now. I want to see what it can do. Let's see what it do this time. I kind of regret cutting it, but at the same time, I enjoyed learning how to cut my hair with like clippers and stuff like that. Like I enjoyed So, I'm my own canvas, you know what I mean? So, like, let's see all what it does. But no, I feel like I ultimately do want long hair. Like, Vonnie, I love your protective styles because I love the textures of hair that you choose to add because they just look so natural and
Oh,
uh,
thank
they
you.
just they just look so good. I don't know. I love the curl pattern of them. I love the feel of them. They look super lightweight. So I'm like, I'm ready to explore. I'm ready to
Anytime you
invest
have
in.
my little hair connect when you're looking for some
Yeah,
bundles,
please,
you holler.
please
I got
do, please do.
Y'all, I cannot believe it. This is my longest live ever. We've been on here for 3
Yay.
hours.
breaking records.
We are breaking records. We have discussed all of the things. I literally can't thank y'all enough for coming through again and discussing this topic with me. Do you all mind, as we wrap up, if you could tell us about your channels one last time? Everybody, don't forget to subscribe to their channels and check out their content, really good content.
Oh, thank you.
Well, my name is Helese and my channel is at Love Stars World. So I talk about ADHD and living with ADHD, just insights that I've gathered along the way, helpful insights that may help you cope. If you're someone who's been late diagnosed like me, I was diagnosed at like 36 or 38 or something like that. I'm 41 today. So, I talk about living with ADHD, different aspects of life and things like that. I think I talked about consistency one time and how that may not look the same for someone with ADHD or someone with a more creative mind than what the typical person is supposed to look like in terms of consistency. So topics like that could be really helpful. And also I want to share with y'all, I have a Substack as well. And I also have a podcast. So the podcast is called Personal, and I started that. I wasn't really, again, consistent with it, right? But I started it back in 2023 when I was still living in New York. So the next episode that I'm going to do is going to be like, here, I'm living in Mexico. But at the time, I did say that I was going to move to Mexico. So I just think it's really interesting that I actually did that. I actually did it. I actually stayed. And I'm here today. So I talk about insights in terms of that as well. So definitely check out the channel. And I thank y'all in advance.
Oh yes, thank you, Elise. Also, I was like, I should promote my Substack too because I have one. My
Yeah.
Substack is unbothered and moisturized. If you type that in, unbothered and moisturized Substack, it should pop right up. Hopefully, it does. SEO. My YouTube is Hey Ron. My name is Vonnie. And I just talk about all the things that, we are unlearning and learning while living well, staying moisturized. So if you heard me yap today, you're like, that girl makes sense. Check out my channel.
Well, thank you, Vonnie, for coming through. Thank you, Helese, for facilitating this discussion. I feel like we have gone through the topics of natural hair. We went deep. We even did body and food, which was
Yeah.
bonus for you all. It's not even on the topic of things we were discussed, but this has been really great. I loved having you all on the channel. Also, Helese, here you go. Love the topics. Want to hear more, of
Thank
course.
you,
Okay,
Elise.
Mom.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everybody.
Dr. Maya.
Of course, it's my pleasure. I loved having you all here. It's been fantastic. Everyone, don't forget to subscribe to Helese and to Vonnie's channel. Thank you all again for helping me get to 1,000 subscribers. That was an amazing
Yeah, you totally deserve it.
in the
You've worked
year.
so hard on this channel.
You are so right. Okay, well, we love to see you all. We loved having conversations with you all, and we can't wait to see you again on YouTube. Everybody, enjoy the rest of your day. And I hope the major takeaway is do whatever you want with your hair. Please.
Amen. And I say,
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.